first Sunday in June as we welcome you to Arlington, Texas, where Houston Astros fans are excited. They are thinking about a sweep today, with the Astros continuing on with the best record in baseball. They have owned that for the last 3.5 weeks. And they defeated the Texas Rangers in the first 2 games of this 3-game series to improve to 40-16 with a 9-game winning streak. The Washington Nationals, their partners in spring training, are 34-20. The next best part in baseball, the Yankees, the next closest in the American League. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Seems like everything's going well right now for the Houston Astros. Todd Callis alongside Jeff Blum, and Blummer, a chance for another sweep during this incredible stretch.
Yeah, we heard early on, just go out there and win as many series as you can, but we've had a lot more of these sweep conversations recently.
When you talk about this 9-game winning streak, there's a half dozen guys that are really setting the table.
Yeah, it's amazing. We had to put it in print on the bottom part of your screen. 6 players hitting .385 or better. That's a remarkable stat for these guys, but they're doing a great job on the road. During that current 9-game winning streak, you see the 8.3 runs per game. These guys are doing a great job. If they win today, they'll tie a franchise record with that 10-game winning streak, but you've also got 3 guys hitting 400 plus. A couple of them were on that screen: Altuve, Correa, Springer. They've scored 53 runs on this road trip alone and look to continue to pile up big numbers against this Texas Rangers team with good numbers against Martin Perez.
Astros continuing to roll along, and as you mentioned, Jose Altuve right in the middle of things. Altuve on a hitting streak in which he's hitting over 500. More on him and Julian Morales when we come back.
Into Arlington Globe Life Park for one more between the Astros and Rangers as the Astros continue their winning ways right here on the road. They've been doing it at home on the road, but this has been an impressive road trip for several players, including Jose Altuve, who was 3 for 5 last night with another home run to add to his home run total of the season. He's our Toyota time to play. Altuve's been pretty impressive on the road. He leads the majors in average on the road, but when we take a look at what he's done on this particular road trip, it's pretty impressive. 565 average, 630 OBP and a 1400 OPS for Altuve. Everyone's got it going in this lineup, but when Jose Altuve is going, there's something different about this club. There's something different about this lineup. He's a true leader on this team, and he's very aware of the splits. He knows how much better he is on the road than he does at home. And he told me earlier today that he does let the ball travel a little bit more when he's on the road. He's got to figure out a way to do it at home. But granted, guys, this guy can hit anywhere he goes. We talk about those splits. He's still a very good hitter, but he is aware of how much better he is on the road. He uses all fields. But it's pretty impressive stuff when you think about what this guy does in ballparks that are not named Minute Maid Park, guys.
It really is. We were going through all the road parks in that last series in Minnesota, Blummer. You were going stadium by stadium and everywhere. And especially at Target Field, but everywhere he has great numbers.
Yeah, it's a joke. And you really have to put those numbers on the screen to really comprehend what exactly is going on. But a 565, these numbers are not normal. They're literally Nintendo or PlayStation type numbers that he puts up on the road. And I'm not sure why Julie kind of hinted at the fact that he lets the ball travel a little bit more, maybe trying to go the other way and use the entire ballpark. But for whatever reason, to hit that much better on the road just tells you he's a freakishly good talent.
Just another 3-hit day for Altuve in last night's victory, 6-5. Let's take a look at today's starting lineup presented by A.J. Hinch and Southwest Airlines. Leading things off, hitting 5 home runs in his last 7 games will be that guy, George Springer. 14 home runs on the year, leads the team. The aforementioned Jose Altuve bats number 2. Carlos Correa in the 3rd spot. Evan Gattis is the cleanup hitter today. Carlos Beltran is the Astros DH. Marwin Gonzalez will start in left field. Yuli Gurriel at first. Alex Bregman at 3rd, and Jake Marisnick gets a start in center.
Left-hander Martin Perez going for the Texas Rangers. 2-5 record on the season, a high ERA, a high whip number. The opponent batting average is quite high also. I expect the Astros, if you've been watching them at all this year, to put some pretty good ABs on against Martin Perez, who comes at you with a fastball, changeup, curveball, slider, pretty much in that order as far as usage is concerned. But he's given up 74 hits in 62 1/3 innings pitched. The only interesting thing for me as far as the Houston Astros offense is that against left-handed pitching this season, they're hitting 258, and the OPS number is around 430, which is considerably lower compared to right-handed pitching. So, good day for them to turn things around, and the good thing they're wearing that gray uniform to do it.
And the overall record, as good as it's been, 40-16. They're only 8-6 against left-handed starters this year. You mentioned the numbers not quite as good. We'll see how they fare against Martin Perez today. The Astros looking to get out of Texas with a sweep. This has not been a place where they've won a lot of games lately. In fact, coming into this series, the Astros had lost 15 of 17 at Globe Life Park. But here they find themselves winning the first 2 games of this series and a chance for a series sweep. Warm yet comfortable afternoon here in Arlington as the Astros will head to Kansas City for 4 night games after this one. And return home for another long homestand with 3 teams coming into town. George has that number, 41 runs, up to 3rd best in the American League as he starts today's game. George is another one of those guys that hits better on the road than at home this year. His numbers aren't quite as crazy as Jose Altuve's, but he's over 300 on the road and 272 overall. '83 degrees at game time. 2:08 first pitch today with the left-hander Martin Perez on the mound. Springer ahead of the count, 3-0.
Last 2 years, Martin Perez averaging 3.5 walks per 9 innings, looking to get an early jump on that number.
His control the first month wasn't great. He walked 19 in his first 6 starts, but then in May, Perez was much better, only walking 5 in his last 5 starts. Just lasted 5 innings though his last time around, and now after being down to the count 3-0, he's at 3-2. He's been a guy through the years who's been a high ground ball percentage guy, but this year those numbers aren't quite the same.
Yeah, it's interesting to see his home run numbers. He's only given up 5 home runs, but like what you're talking about, the fly ball rate is up and the line drive rate against Perez is up.
Springer may have caught Robinson Chirinos there on the backswing. Either that or the foul ball did. Either way, it's still 3-2. George with an 8-game hitting streak, batting .459 during this stretch.
Gonna take a look at that foul ball off the chest of Chirinos on our Supermo, right off that right collarbone. Brought to you by Mattress Firm.
George sends one deep to left field, and Springer hits his 15th of the year. First batter of the game. Springer's 6th leadoff home run of the season. That's tied for the best in baseball this year.
Good start. I'm serious, Todd. That was a pretty good start to this ball game. Watching George Springer work the count into a 3-2 count, and then getting a down and in heater and dropping the head. That's not even the best swing we've seen Springer take all year long, and he still gets it out of here.
I know you were serious, but you kind of deadpanned it. It made me laugh. Yeah, good start.
Yeah, here we go again, guys.
Here's Jose Altuve. Ground ball towards third. Backing up to make the play and throwing across the diamond is Pete Cosmo. And Altuve's retired for the first out of the first. Springer and Corey Dickerson of the Rays have 6 leadoff home runs. That's tied for the best in the majors this year.
.107.3 miles an hour off the bat of George Springer. Line drive again. Very similar to the first one he hit in Minnesota.
Remember, for a while he was kind of sitting at that 9 home run plateau, and lately that has changed dramatically. 6 home runs in the last 8 games for Springer. Springer had lost the team lead in home runs for a while to Marwin Gonzalez. Here's Carlos Correa. Correa's got double-digit home runs with 10. Carlos takes one up and in. 1 ball and 1 strike. This is a Texas Rangers team that has been used to being on the other side of the scoreboard against the Astros than in this series. 15-4 last year, 13-6 the year before against Houston. But they have lost 5 out of the first 6 games this year. Ooh. Carlos with Ryan Blakeney behind home plate today. Young umpire.
Just reminding him that he is a legit 6'4" as you take a look at where that pitch was in the MD Anderson strike zone, just clipping that down and in corner.
Now the count's full. But in 19 games last year, the Astros with fewer wins than they have against the Rangers already this season.
Taking a look at this one. If we got a piece of Carlos.
AJ has up to 30 seconds to check with his guys underneath who are reviewing all angles on that last pitch, and they do want to look at this, which means they have a pretty good idea that Carlos may have been hit by that pitch.
How about Brad Ausmus the other day getting ejected because they said his time was up? As we look at our replay on the Mattress Firm Supermo, ball down, and he kind of bends down a little bit, and it looks like it may have grazed that knee. I'm not sure if there's enough there for them to overturn that, but kind of an interesting take from Carlos Correa on a ball in the dirt.
On the bounce, the Astros are saying that hit Correa in the back knee.
Well, Carlos went down to his shin guard like he was going to take it off and go to first base, so he thought he got hit too. Side angle. I'm not sure if there's enough there for me. Kind of an interesting challenge. The way the guys have been swinging the bats, you might think that Jeff Bannister might be the one challenging it. Just let him take the one base.
I was thinking the same thing, that if the Astros lose this challenge, the worst thing that can happen is Correa has a 3-2 count. And he's hitting in a 9-game hitting streak, 434 during that stretch.
Kind of takes the buzz out of this electric start with George leading off with a bomb, and then please hold.
Well, AJ won't be thrilled if this is not overturned.
Yeah, that's an early burn, isn't it?
And then a pitch later, if it's out of the zone, Correa's going to be on first anyhow. So we'll see. They feel pretty confident about it, though. Correa still batting.
Full count.
Correa hits one out here. They'll be thrilled that was not overturned. Into center field. Back goes Hoying, and he is there in front of the track to make the play. Hit pretty well by Carlos, but he's the second out of the inning.
Evan Gattis coming to the plate. He's been swinging the bat well of late. One of those guys that kind of sneaks under the radar, but in the last 6 games, he's doing some very good things. He's racking up the RBIs. I know the home run totals aren't what Evan wants it to be, but he is still contributing. Getting on base, but that 391 average and that OPS up over 1,000 is a beautiful thing. Continues not to complain, embraces the role, and makes it happen when he steps in there.
Gattis has been making a lot of contact lately. He's not been swinging through many pitches. You see his career numbers against Martin Perez. Happy to be in there today against the lefty. Into center field. Hoying going back, and Jared is there in front of the wall. He can't make the play. Gattis into second base. That ball looked like Jared Hoying was going to catch it on the track up against the fence, but it glances off his glove.
I agree. Looked like his footwork got a little tied up. I'll have to wait and see if they rule that a knock for Evan Gattis, but it's good to see him driving the ball to center field. A couple of mistakes up from Martin Perez. See the angle that he took. Looked like he might have gotten a little lackadaisical. Yeah, that's just a good old-fashioned clank. They did give it an error.
Right off the bottom of his glove. 2-base error charged to Hoying, and that keeps the inning alive for Carlos Beltran. Beltran with a big game yesterday. Hits in 3 of his first 3 at-bats, including a home run his first time up. Carlos takes a call, strike nothing and 1. Still looking for that first right-handed hitting home run. No home runs, 2 RBIs as a right-hand hitter. Beltran down in the count, 0-2. Gattis on second base on the error by the outfielder Hoying. 2 outs. Astros lead 1-0 on a leadoff home run by George Springer. Carlos with that 3-hit game yesterday, moving that average up to 255. Carlos to left field. That's well hit. All the way back and off the top of the wall. Gattis will score easily. Beltran cruises into second with a double. Astros lead 2-0.
So far, it looks like Martin Perez is throwing the barrel finder. There have been some hard hit balls already in this inning. We know the Astros are swinging the bats well as Carlos Beltran continues to climb that career double ladder with 548, but a little bit of a slider coming down and in right into the barrel of Carlos Beltran. Almost got that first home run right-handed of the season. High off that left field wall. It's the only ball this inning that hasn't left the barrel of an Astro bat under 100 miles an hour.
That'll bring up Marwin Gonzalez. He sends one off of Perez. Recovering is Odor in time to make the play. Line drive off the bat of Gonzalez. Hit the pitcher. But resulted in the final out of the inning.
George Springer doing it again. Leadoff bomb. Set the tone for the Astros during a good stretch.
Nothing. The Rangers come to bat for the first time against Brad Peacock, and here's how they will line things up. Left-hand hitter Shin-Soo Choo will lead off, followed by the shortstop Elvis Andrus. Nomar Mazara is in left field. Adrian Beltran, the day off from the field. He's the DH. Joey Gallo at first. Mike Napoli out of the lineup. Robinson Chirinos behind the plate. Rougned Odor drops all the way down to 7. Jared Hoying 8, and Pete Kozma is the 9-hitter.
Brad Peacock going for your Houston Astros, a right-hander, getting another opportunity in that rotation with some of the DL issues in that rotation. Still putting up good numbers. It was an interesting start last time he went out, 4 2/3, 4 earned runs, but he punched out 8 and only walked 1, so he's still got good command. His BABIP is very low, and the opponent batting average is even lower. He's doing a great job of holding opponents to a 138 average.
Yeah, when you compare the two opponents' averages in today's start, you've got Peacock down at 138. You've got Martin Perez at 301. Here's Shin-Soo Choo, who is leading things off this afternoon with 3 guys on the right side of the infield against him in the shift. Choo is 2 for his last 13, coming in with that average right at 250. You see Correa having a little discussion with Ted Barrett on the first base side of the infield. Pitches away from Peacock. It's 2-1. Not only did Peacock have 8 strikeouts in his last start, had 8 strikeouts the previous start. He still hasn't gone 5 innings in either start. And Brad gets a called strike on the corner, 2-2. Choo was not thrilled with that call by Ryan Blakeney. He has thrown 70 and 78 pitches. If he's effective today, that'll probably be stretched out a little more. Called third strike, inside corner. Choo wasn't sure about strike 2. He gets called looking on strike 3. First strikeout for Peacock.
It's a good start for Brad Peacock. Not exactly where he wanted it, but still painted that inside corner, locking up Shin-Soo Choo.
Choo saw that empty Anderson grid. He would see 3 pitches all getting a piece of the plate, but all on the corners. Elvis Andrus. He has been the hottest hitter for the Rangers the last week or so. And he takes a called strike, 0-1. Peacock throws that slider in there right around 80 to start this at bat. And that has been a really effective pitch for him this year. Fastball hits the jersey of Elvis Andrus. Brad trying to come in with a fastball. And Texas has their first base runner of the day.
Got away on the arm side of Brad Peacock. You see clips that jersey. That one a little more evident than Carlos Correa. No intention. I know it's a rivalry game and everybody's going to be high intensity, but no intention. Just a missed spot.
Here's Mazzara. Team leader with 35 runs batted in. Taking a called strike. Mazzara also in the top 10 in RBIs with those 35. Yesterday, though, tough day for him. Struck out 4 times. Career high. Ahead of that pitch, and Peacock ahead 0-2.
Slider has been a very good pitch. That's what Todd's been talking about.
Plummer seems like he's getting more comfortable not only throwing it to righties, but using it as a weapon against lefties too.
Well, if you can locate it where he did on that outside corner, you call that the backdoor slider. That is a nasty pitch, because as a left-handed hitter, you give up on it, then it breaks right back into the zone.
High fly ball into center field. Jake Marisnick camps under it and puts it away for out number 2. Seems like the ball's carrying a little bit on this warm Sunday.
I always felt that this was a good ballpark to hit at. Ball carries good. It's usually windy here on a daily basis. But yeah, day games, it does seem like the ball does carry a little bit more.
Ball got back off the bat of Evan Gattis, and maybe further than Jared Hoying initially thought. That last fly ball carried Marisnick back a little bit. Here's Adrian Beltre. See what he's done in his first 5 games. He's hit in every game so far since coming off the DL. Swings and fouls one back, 0-1. Peacock has had good success against the Rangers. The one guy who has given him issues is Adrian Beltre. Beltre comes in 5 for 13 against Brad with 3 home runs. But overall, Peacock has a 3.41 ERA in 5 starts and 2 appearances out of the bullpen against Texas. He's gone at least 6 in 4 of his 5 starts against the Rangers. Pitch misses away to Beltre, 1-1. Jeff Bannister's group starts the day trailing the Astros by 14 games in the American League West. Texas falling into 4th place with their loss yesterday, dropping a half game behind the Seattle Mariners. Angels are in 2nd, 12.5 games behind the 40-16 Houston Astros. Peacock down to the count, 3-1.
Pretty good pitch, and it's good to see, you know, the misses that we have seen from Brad Peacock have been down in the zone. I think that Dallas Keuchel has really set the tone. If you're going to miss down.
That's a called strike. That good slider. He'll throw it in any count. Coach Brent Strom looking on. Peacock knows he'll have a chance to be in this rotation for a little while. Joe Musgrove will not make his next start. 3-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Peacock gets Beltre, who has been a nemesis against him. Down on the count, 3-1. He fights back for his 2nd strikeout of the inning. So we're through an inning from Globe Life Park, 2-0 Houston.
We move to the top of the second, and it's time for today's Chevy Stroh poll. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at Root Sports SW. That's where you find our Chevy Stroh poll. Please vote. We'll tell you who wins later in the broadcast today. We ask what has been the biggest difference between the 2017 Astros and other Astros teams. Is it the better depth, star power, bullpen, or veteran leadership? I know we have some longtime Astros fans following along, so I'm interested to see their thoughts on this, guys.
Can you just say yes?
Line drive, base hit into left field off the bat of Gurriel. Yeah, that's a tough poll, Blummer, because there are more than one correct answer, I believe. It's just a matter of which you feel strongest about.
Yeah, you definitely make an argument for any of those. Good swing by Yuli. We know he's pretty aggressive in the count. Got himself a fastball he liked. Hunted it. Got it. Raked it.
That curveball has not been as effective this year for Martin Perez. Hasn't been throwing it as much for strikes. And Gurriel's a good breaking ball hitter anyhow. Here's Alex Bregman. Bregman trying to snap a couple of streaks. Alex 0 for his last 9, and he's never had a hit against Martin Perez in 6 at-bats. Had that string of 3 consecutive home runs to start this road trip in 3 games, giving him 6 home runs on the season. Taking a pitch away, and it's 2-0. We talked about it Friday. We had the off day yesterday in terms of a television broadcast. Hope you had a chance to watch that game nationally on Fox. But then here we are this afternoon with the Astros looking for a sweep. And you read the papers, Blummer, you talk to some fans or you talk to some people around Arlington. They sense this is not the Houston Astros they have seen the past couple of years coming into Arlington.
No, there was an article by Tim Calishaw that I actually appreciated because he kind of referenced back to those 13-14 days when Jim Crane, Jeff Luhnow, and that group took over, and how the struggles were where they were losing 100+ games a year. But they built a team to come out and do what they're doing in 2017. But what he had remarked on is he took it even further. He said you can expect this for years to come, which is pretty impressive because they do have good young talent. We talk about Alex Bregman, Carlos Correa. The old salty veterans on this team are Altuve and Keuchel, 27, 28 years old.
Ball forward. Bregman draws a walk. Astros have the first 2 runners on in the second. Today's fan cam is presented by GulloAuto.com. A lot of orange and navy in attendance for this series. Not a way to do it. You've got your Rangers Cup because you're at Globe Life Park, but you've got your Astros beer holder.
It was great. I'm not sure if you were listening when they were announcing the lineups before the game. Every guy in that Astros lineup got a huge cheer. It was good to hear in this ballpark.
Astros fans have come out to this stadium before, but haven't had as much to cheer about as they have in this series. And Correa and Springer going for the big boomstick to start this Sunday afternoon.
It's a bold move.
That is a bold move. There's Jake Marisnick getting a start today in center field. Jake coming in batting .268. And he fouls one out of play. Almost all of Jake's RBIs, except for 1, have come via the home run. This wouldn't be a bad time to add 3 to his total. Already has more home runs than he did all of last year.
That would really reinforce our narrative that these guys can hit.
Well, it's a crowd that has been, for the most part, kind of quiet this weekend. Rangers fans coming in knowing this is a very good Houston Astros team and now seeing it in person for the first time. They've seen the Astros win the first 2 games of the series. 7-1 and 6-5 the 2 scores so far, and leading 2-0 today.
During that 9-game winning streak, the runs per game is astonishing, but it goes to what we had hit in the open with the 6 guys with 385+ batting averages, and then all those numbers follow up when you're swinging the bat so well. When you're swinging the bat well and you're seeing the ball well, you lay off pitches outside the zone, force those pitchers back in. But every mistake, it seems, that gets thrown in the strike zone against anybody in this lineup is getting rocked.
I think that one phrase you added in there, laying off pitches outside of the zone, has been so key, not only in this streak, but the whole season. Jake lays off that one, just missing 2-2. Because not only are they extending pitch counts on starters.
That's what you're talking about, Todd. Knowing the strike zone and not expanding, not giving in, forcing that pitcher to come to them.
But time and time again, they're not afraid to take a walk like Bregman did and leave it up to the next guy, because the next guy's been just as good all year long. 2-2 pitch. He throws that bat 4 or 5 rows into the crowd and strikes out. Well, Jake doesn't necessarily need that bat after a strikeout. He's the first out here in the 2nd inning. A foul ball.
Yeah, you just hope everybody's okay. It's one thing to have the baseball going in there. They actually have nets above the dugouts here, but this bat makes it over that net.
Well, that's a real battle. You lose the bat and you're still alive.
I swung through a couple of pitches earlier. Maybe just get rid of that one and move on.
If he hits a home run here, then you know things are going well.
And the bat boy made the right choice.
On the ground towards second, Odor to Andrews for a run, and they turn 2. Riznik gets into a double play.
After that double play, we're going to lift your spirits a little bit and go back to that first inning home run for George Springer. Yet another leadoff bomb for him. It's been a while since we've seen one. Nice low trajectory off the bat, about 22 degrees. But enough to get it out of here on a line for George Springer, showing some thump here during this nice run the Astros and himself are having.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch George pick up that batting average. He was down around 240 for a while. You see he does his thing with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. During this 9-game hitting streak, he is 18 for 38 with that home run his first time up.
These numbers are ridiculous. I mean, just thinking about that. 18 for 38.
And the guy behind him, 17 for 32.
He's better.
So who do you pitch to? Springer, apparently, as he fouls one back, it's 1-1.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, it's a tough choice to make, but the 2-out risk is the one that worries you a little bit, because George Springer has a very good idea of the strike zone. Yet he is using all parts of the field, which is beautiful to see. And we know he's got pop going everywhere, but the numbers to have them above 500 in 2-out situations with runners in scoring position, where pitchers are actually stepping up their game and getting a little more creative and a little more on execution, and he just continues to spoil it.
No one's been better in the major leagues this year. As he checks the swing and fouls one, he's frustrated at himself that that was a foul ball. It's 1-2. All those numbers are the major league's best with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. On third base is Gurriel. Up high, 2-2. Martin Perez has worked 2 innings, trying to get through the 2nd inning, up to 38 pitches. Astros did a good job against Yu Darvish, moving his pitch count up early in that game and caused him to leave after 5. Inside, ball 3.
Good eye in off the plate.
Well, the Astros have their share of hitting into double plays this year. We saw one earlier this inning, but they're putting a lot more balls in play too with all these runners. That's kind of the result.
It's kind of interesting that two good numbers are adding up to all those double plays because their on-base percentage is going up and their contact rate is going up. So you're creating more opportunities for those double plays, and unfortunately they have hit into them.
We have to find one area that could improve.
Yeah, exactly. Just one.
Just that one. Long look in from Perez to Chirinos. He's ready to go now. George with a full count. Into right field. There's another 2-out base hit with a runner in scoring position. Springer with his second RBI of the game. Astros lead 3-0. RBI number 41 on the year for George.
I'm going to go back in the plane today and thank George for making us look good after putting up all these fantastic numbers. He comes through. Not only does he work the count again, another 3-2 count, but he gets a 2-out RBI that we've been talking about. And it doesn't have to be smoked. Just got to be put in the right place, but you've got to be cognizant of where that strike zone is, and he did a great job. You can see the recognition because that foot is down, but the hand stayed back, and there was a slight little hesitation that you could see right there in the recognition and still staying on that pitch.
George has 36 runs batted in with that last one. As Jose Altuve bats. Altuve grounded out his first time up. 3-0 Astros. 2 in the first and another run scoring with 2 outs. What happened in the first inning too is something that the Astros have done very well this year. If you give them an extra out, like Hoying did on the error to Evan Gattis, the Astros have taken advantage. It seems like a very high percentage of the time.
So true.
Altuve with a 1-1 count. Jose coming off a 3-for-5 game with a home run.
And how about George Springer leading the team in home runs, second in RBIs at the leadoff spot.
Leading in runs scored. Leadoff hitter with a lot of pop, 15 home runs, does not have a stolen base. Hasn't tried a stolen base since the second game of the year.
Why bother?
Perez will check him just in case. You see Joey Gallo over at first base today. Mike Napoli's been bothered by back spasms that are keeping him out of this game, and also had him leave the game early yesterday. I'm going to take a look at him during the off day and hope everything's okay. The 2-1 pitch is fouled. Counts 2-2.
Yeah, I think George Springer's RBI totals are a credit to what those guys have done in the 7, 8, 9 spots that we keep talking about. And not only do we talk about the superstars in this lineup, they have plenty of them, but also that 7, 8, 9 guys being on base and allowing that lineup to turn over and get to guys like George Springer.
Swing and a miss at a high fastball. Perez gets Altuve. That's the first strikeout for Martin Perez, but the Astros add to the lead. It's 3-0. Astros Baseball on Root Sports is presented by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Sunday afternoon baseball in Arlington, Texas. Astros with a 3-0 lead. Dan wanted to see 10 straight wins. The Astros have a couple of winning streaks on the line. 9-game streak overall and a 9-game road winning streak. The road winning streak record for any Astros team or Colt 45's team in franchise history is 10. The 1989 Houston Astros won 10 straight games on the road. This year's version has a chance to match that with a win today. Joey Gallo to lead things off. Gallo down on the count, 0-2. We're starting to talk last inning about how Brad Peacock has a chance to stay in this rotation a little while. Joe Musgrove will miss another start. David Paulino will start game 2 in that series in Kansas City. Mike Byers tomorrow. And a 3-pitch strikeout. Peacock gets Joey Gallo. That's 3 strikeouts.
A little more of a curveball. We got a chance to show you a pitching performance that is powered by Kubota. Last night, the Houston Astros pitching staff, 18 punch-outs. We talk about how good the Astros offense is. It seems to be that the Texas Rangers offense is going in the other direction, much like some of the early Astro lineups that would go out there and provide a lot of thump, but not a lot of contact. But there are some high swing and miss guys in that starting rotation. There's a ton of high swing and miss guys coming out of that bullpen. Devo's one of those guys. Peacock used to be one of those guys. Now he's in that starting rotation. It's good to see James Hoyt come out of there in a pressure situation and do a good job too.
Hoyt has become a guy that A.J. Hinch is really counting on in big spots as Robinson Chirino bats. 1-1 the count.
Well, kind of like there's a couple days back that Julie was talking about James Hoyt, and he's just kind of out there. Hey, I've got good stuff. I worked my tail off to get here. Might as well perform, and he has been.
Yeah, talk about sliders. Brad Peacock slider's been good this year, really good this year. And the James Hoyt sliders kind of changed things around for him. 2-1 the count. So Peacock's looking at this right now, and he's saying, all right, we know Musgrove's probably coming back. Not this start in Kansas City, but probably in that next homestand at Minute Maid Park. More than likely, that's going to be David Paulino, who loses a spot in the rotation. So Brad knows I have an opportunity right now. There's no timetable on Charlie Morton coming back. Colin McHugh still a ways away. Well, Brad Peacock's looking at this right now as a chance to get the ball every 5 days for the team with the best record in baseball.
And really one of the more interesting stories on this Astros roster, in the sense that he was literally pitching for his Astro life, maybe for his baseball life, because he was out of options. He was either going to be on this ball club or he was going to be left out there for free agency for somebody to pick him up. Pitched his way into that bullpen with the McHugh injury. Now he's pitched well enough to get himself into the rotation. Now he's pitching to stay in that rotation. So it's kind of fun to watch these guys that know that they have something on the line and they perform.
Yeah, Peacock, from the start of this season, has been probably the most pleasant surprise on this Astros team, as Chirinos hooks one plenty deep enough for a home run, but hooks it foul.
Not the best slider we've seen, a little bit elevated. Just a loud strike.
That is a called third strike at the knees. Chirinos goes down looking. 4 strikeouts for Peacock. 2 outs in the second. Julia?
Hey, Todd, you were just mentioning we're not going to see Joe Musgrove in Kansas City. They're just not ready to ramp him up yet on the 10-day DL with that shoulder discomfort. He's still having a little bit of soreness. Didn't even throw a bullpen. They're just being really cautious with it. Not really worried about it, though. And this way, they can insert him wherever they want. So we'll see how that goes. You did mention the homestand. That could be a possibility. So not too much concern there, but they are being very cautious.
And the team keeps winning.
Say, why not? You know, it's crazy to think about, but with this huge lead, you can start manipulating those innings in that roster a little bit to keep these guys cool and refreshed.
On the ground, couple of hops, Yuli Gurriel, Brad Peacock, a 1-2-3 second inning, including a couple of strikeouts. Astros lead 3-0 after 2.
Spotlight is going to fall on a couple of ex-Astros. Jeff Bagwell in August of 2000, 380, putting up monster numbers as he always had. Teamed up with Moises Alou during that month of August to put up some prodigious numbers. It's always fun looking back at these highlights and realizing how good these guys actually were, but another 385 average. But we're just talking about two guys who have combined during a month to put up just unbelievable numbers. And you see on the bottom the Carlos Correa, Marwin Gonzalez numbers in comparison to that August 2000 duo of Alou and Bagwell. Truly incredible stuff, but 34 RBIs in 1 month for Jeff Bagwell. Hall of Fame type month.
It's a lot of ribbies in 1 month. Carlos won Player of the Month and had 26.
Well, isn't it great to see what Carlos Correa has done, and we've marveled at it, yet Bagwell had better numbers.
Carlos fouls one out of play. Carlos with a hit yesterday, an RBI in 5 at-bats, had a hit in Friday night's game, a home run. Big 3-run home run. But only 2 hits so far in 9 at-bats. His average at .310, but that hitting streak continuing. It's now at a 9-game stretch, coinciding nicely with the Astros winning streak. And not entirely coincidental. As Carlos Correa goes, this offense also seems to pick up an extra notch.
Well, I think it was pretty evident in April in comparison to May, where Carlos was trying to feel his way through it. He's had plenty of opportunities with guys on base, but this last month obviously has stepped it up to a completely different level.
Astros come in with a run scored per game mark on the road of 6.69 for the season.
Anytime you put a runs per game and the 6 comes up.
Correa deep to left center field, bidding for another home run, gone over the Astros bullpen for his 11th home run of the year, and the Astros lead it 4-0.
My goodness. These guys were fun to watch for me to begin with, but this year has been absolutely incredible. Nice swing, Carlos. Again.
You know, Altuve always having a good time. Hard not to have fun on this year's team. 40-16 scoring runs at an incredible level. You saw earlier with this 9-game winning streak, scoring in the high 8s per game. 4 runs already in the 3rd inning. Here's Evan Gattis. Gattis reached on a 2-base error his first time up, came around to score the Astros' 2nd run. On the ground towards 3rd, Cosma to his left, 1 out in the 3rd.
It's a good look at it. And you know Martin Perez is trying to get that fastball in there to set up some of the off-speed pitches on the outside, but you just got to be better than that because the way these guys are swinging, any mistake is getting barreled. 104.5 miles an hour off the bat, 440 estimated feet.
There's a lot of space between that left center field wall and the back of the bullpen there. 440. Quite a shot off the bat of Carlos Correa. Now 1-0 on Carlos Beltran. Correa extends his team lead in the RBI category. He has 39 now.
Four-seam fastball trying to get in the kitchen of Carlos Correa, and there's just no room. There's too much going on. Drive it out of there.
Beltran didn't miss his first right-handed home run by much. His first time up, hit one off the top of the wall and left.
Watch how direct that barrel is to the baseball, and then through it, full extension with that right arm, and then pose for that baseball card.
Five RBIs this series for Correa, coming off a month in which he drove in 26. Down and in, ball 4. Beltran draws the walk. Well, Carlos has been on base a couple of times. Beltran, that is, with a double and a walk. Here's Marwin Gonzalez.
Carlos has had some good revenge ABs in this series.
For Correa on this road trip, which is now 6 games in, he has 4 home runs and a dozen RBIs on this road trip. Still 4 games to go on the trip. Down the line, fair ball off the bat of Marwin Gonzalez. Beltran to third, Gonzalez to second, and the Astros have 2 more in scoring position.
Didn't have a chance to run the numbers, but with runners on, Marwin Gonzalez is doing a phenomenal job. 369 average, 7 home runs, 29 RBIs. Again, that slugging percentage. The Rangers know all about this. He's been doing it consistently against them, especially with that grand slam back at home in that series at Minute Maid Park. Big series in Target Field for Marwin. But yeah, just get on base, and all Marwin has to do is touch it, and he's going to be driving guys in. This one right here, he just snuck down that left field line with Beltran out of the game, taking advantage of Pete Kozma.
So Marwin with another extra base hit, and the Rangers will bring the infield in tight, halfway with Beltran on third base and Yuli Gurriel the batter. Marwin has now reached base 26 consecutive starts.
Say that again?
26 consecutive starts he's reached base.
Not bad.
And during that stretch, 26 games, 393 with a 1254 OPS.
That'll increase your chances of getting on base when you're hitting close to 400. Analysis.
Here's Yuli with a couple of guys in scoring position, in the air towards right field, towards the line, getting over there and making the play is HOU. Coming in to score will be Carlos Beltran, so give Yuli Gurriel a sacrifice fly. The Astros now lead it 5-0.
During that stretch, too, the Astros have played fundamentally sound baseball. Todd talked about how some of the advantages they take on other teams when they do make mistakes, but these guys have done exactly what A.J. Hinch has preached as far as taking an extra 90 feet. Even Marwin Gonzalez tagging up on that, getting himself into scoring position, or at least 90 feet closer. So these guys are doing a very good job. That was a good read by Carlos to score on that sac fly.
So now it's Alex Bregman's turn. Bregman walked his first time up, takes a called strike. Gurriel with that RBI now has 6 runs batted in his last 5 games. Up and down the lineup, you can find a positive stat for pretty much everybody. Out in front of that, it's 0-2. Two in the first, one more in the second, two more in the third. Astros have jumped out 5-0. Looking for a sweep in Arlington. 1-2 the count. Martin Perez with a high pitch count through 3, just like Darvish on Friday night. Darvish threw 63 pitches to get through 3 innings. This will be Perez's 64th pitch in the third. And low. Another good take by an Astro.
Really glad there's history books and stats and things like that, because I can't compare anything I went through with what these guys are doing. It's incredible.
In the air to center field. The Astros offensive train keeps rolling with 2 more in the third. Houston leading at the end of 3. 5-0 with Carlos Correa hitting his 11th home run of the season.
Nothing lead for the Houston Astros. Enjoy big and bright Friday nights at every Friday home game. Come out early and enjoy Budweiser happy hour. Get rowdy in the Stro Zone and cap off your night with the best fireworks show in town. Visit Astros.com/Friday nights or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Todd?
Thank you, Julia. Bottom half of the third inning. Astros leading 5-0. Brad Peacock on for his third inning of work. Starts out Jared Hoying with a called strike, 0-1. Peacock has not gone 5 innings in either of his first 2 starts, as the ground ball past the mound is fielded by Correa, perfectly ready in the shift. Our next big and bright Friday night will feature the Angels and a new member of the 600 home run club.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of Astro fans that might be a little upset because they've known that Albert Pujols hit 10% of those 600 home runs against them, but you have got to recognize greatness. Albert Pujols, the 9th player in the history of the game of baseball to get to that 600 home run plateau. Congratulations to him. Also did it in grand style with the grand slam.
First ever to reach that plateau with a slam, as the Angels playing the Minnesota Twins last night. Back at it again today. Whether you're the Angels or obviously in this case the Rangers, watching the Astros in person, the Mariners, the A's, every time you look up at the out-of-town scoreboard, you're thinking, is Houston doing that again? I mean, there's just, it's relentless, and you love it on this side. But if you're another team in the AL West, you're thinking they're not letting us breathe at all.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. You talk to opposing broadcasters and they literally say that they'll watch the scoreboard, see the score, they'll write down the last play in their scorebook and look up, and the game's completely changed in the favor of the Houston Astros. And not by a small margin, by a very large margin.
Yeah, this offense has been a quick strike, just juggernaut, especially on the road this year. 1-2 the count, and Cosma goes down swinging. So that's 5 strikeouts for Brad Peacock, who had 8 in start number 1 and 4 1/3 innings, and 8 in start number 2 and 4 2/3 innings. Big question today, can he get at least through 5? Because the team has won both of his starts. First start he was on a very limited pitch count. Last start he just ran into a little trouble in the 5th.
Big numbers. Astros atop that American League West, running away with it early on here. Just continuing to pound on teams within their division.
Big numbers, no whammies.
I like it.
Called strike, 0-1.
I wonder if Julia has any recollection of that game show that we're referencing. That was I couldn't turn that thing off. I wanted to see that whammy come up.
Line drive, whammy against Shin-Soo Choo as he hits a bullet right at Yuli Gurriel, and that'll end the 3rd inning. Leading 5-0 over the Rangers, trying to extend their winning streak not only overall but on the road to 10 games. Would match a franchise high if they do so. Here's Jake Marisnick to lead things off. One of our viewers enjoying our press your luck reference at the last half inning.
There are several enjoying that now. It's popping up.
Saw one earlier from a viewer who talked about the last time the Astros lost a game on the road. They actually won a game that day, and we were talking about that earlier today. Press your luck.
Yes, we are pressing our luck with that one. It's good.
No whammies.
Does that mean I'm as old as Granny?
Apparently Trent's Granny and I and you.
Yep, I'm in that boat.
We're in that same boat. Here's Jake Marisnick with a count of 1-1. So if you want to find a day the Astros played a game on the road and didn't have a loss, or didn't have a win, you have to go back to May 6th, 5-6, back in Anaheim, almost a month ago. Because they played the doubleheader at Yankee Stadium, they went 1-1, so they at least had one win that day they played.
Cinco de Mayo hangover day.
Right. That's the last time.
Unbelievable.
6 de Mayo, the last time the Astros played a game of baseball on a particular road date.
It's almost a month ago.
Didn't have at least one win.
At some point, I'm going to stop being shocked at everything they're doing, right? I guess not at this rate.
The other thing that, during this 9-game winning streak that's kind of shocking, and it's 3-2 on Jake Marisnick, is the Astros hadn't used Ken Giles in a save situation since the first game against Baltimore. They did use Will Harris for one on that Saturday, but they basically went exactly 1 week in between save situations with this winning streak. Giles came out for some work the other day just because he hasn't been used, and normally you're in a winning streak, you are taxing your closer. Now today's a different situation. They've used Giles Friday and Saturday. They used him Friday in a big 7-0 lead. He ended up giving up a run, but they just wanted to get him work. Normally it's quite the opposite during a winning streak.
No, you're completely wrong. Right, this offense has just been getting after it.
Even in this count, Jake's 3-2, fouling off pitches, and now he hooks one down the left field line, and that ball's just foul. Martin Perez doesn't have an out yet in the 4th inning, and he's thrown 73 pitches. You got to imagine the Rangers bullpen is going to be used early in this one.
Yeah, poor Doug Brocail over there on the other side going through it. So many one-run games that they won last year. This year is not the same picture. And Doug Brocail trying to patchwork that rotation together. That bullpen's been taking a beating.
When the Rangers went 15-4 against Houston last year, they won 8 out of 9 one-run games. Into left field, pretty well hit all the way back, and getting there right in front of the warning track to make the play is Nomar Mazara. So even on the out, pretty well hit off the bat of Jake Marisnick.
You say that one might have just gotten in on the label of Jake a little bit, but still a good swing. But again, a lot of warning track outs. Which reminds me of a very memorable story of Doug Brocail in spring training. When he turned around, he was getting just absolutely torched. And it wasn't anything soft. And luckily in spring training, those numbers don't show up on the back of your baseball card, but he proceeded to get the ball back for me at third base and turned around and started screaming at the outfield, telling them to back up. He felt with his stuff that day that they were playing way too shallow, and he wanted them up against the wall. Oh.
Good when you can laugh at yourself.
Doug was a very good pitcher. He was a very creative pitcher also. We had many of good conversation. Good guy. Played with him with the Padres and the Astros.
The guy's back up?
Oh, yeah. If Doug asks you to do something, you're going to do it. He's a frightening man. Big old teddy bear, but if you get him upset, watch out. I love me some Doug Brocail.
He has been watching on as this Astros offense has done some damage against his staff in this series, especially the guy at the plate who has 2 RBIs today, including a home run, George Springer. Springer had 2 hits in last night's game, 2 hits and an RBI in the opener, so he's had at least 2 hits in all 3 games this weekend. Stays alive at 2-2. That's average, which was down right around 240 before this hitting streak, which is now at 19 for 39 in a 9-game streak. He's got that average from right around 240 all the way up to almost 280 right now. He's at 279. Stays alive on a tough pitch. Martin Perez is probably thinking, what do I have to do?
I don't think that there's too many pitchers out there right now that have stuff to beat what the Astros are bringing to the plate, and just spoiling. Doing a great job.
1 strikeout for Perez today. That came against Jose Altuve to end the second.
Which doesn't make any sense, the way he's been swinging the bat.
That ball's crushed to left center field. Springer has done it again. George with his 2nd home run of the game, his 16th on the year. Astros lead this 6-0.
It's a pretty good call, Todd. Right off the top of the wall, but you knew with Springer's pop it was going out of here, especially as well as he's been swinging it. Right over that 390 mark, the Astros continue to pound on the ego of the Texas Rangers.
I'll be honest with you, I was watching the guys in the bullpen, and they were already celebrating. So if they're celebrating,
that's a veteran move on your part. You got to check the fielders.
If they're celebrating, I figured it was gone, but that just barely cleared. 3 for 3, 2 home runs, 3 runs batted in. Then they had a big celebration out there after one of the guys caught that home run ball. 0-2 on Jose Altuve.
Still celebrating in that Texas Ranger bullpen. It looks like Barnett's getting up for him.
Altuve, the one guy today still trying to solve Martin Perez. Those two were teammates this year in the WBC for Team Venezuela.
Altuve came into this game 10 for 27 off Martin.
Perez has given up 7 hits, 6 runs, 3 home runs. This Astros offense on the road continuing to pile up runs. And the only 2 strikeouts today are against Jose Altuve.
And coming into this game, George Springer was 2 for 17 off Martin Perez, but they have tried to get into on the hands of right-handed hitters, and George said no. 4-seam fastball cutting across his body, but again, not far enough inside. The barrel of George Springer flying through the strike zone these days and barreling things up left and right. Gets himself another multi-home run game.
There's a little celebration there in the bullpen after that home run. Guys go after home runs pretty aggressively out there. Javier Bracamonte, I think, has the most home runs caught this season.
You want to know my theory on that?
Yes.
The camera follows the baseball, right? One way to get on TV.
Let's see this one.
Go get it. That's Devo back there shagging that one up.
So Devo gets it.
Yeah, there was some extracurricular activity after that home run.
Yeah, there was like a little.
Well, how those guys have got to be upset, right? All the fun's being had down here in the dugout. These guys crushing baseballs, high-fiving, splashing each other with water. They've got their own act going right now.
What's this?
I don't know, but looks like Carlos Munoz is taking a beating.
He got beat up for Springer's home run?
Maybe he throws to that batting practice group.
Good to have fun. You're right, the bullpen guys have to get in on the act too. Carlos Correa got in the act his last time up. But a quick meeting at the mound there in between pitches with the 2-0 count. Now Carlos has a 3-0 count, and you've got to think that light is bright green.
Yeah, this is a little bit different situation than the one we saw with Gurriel in Minnesota. Still within striking range, so it's okay to let loose on that 3-0 count, but Carlos Correa opting not to. And again, Carlos might be thinking he's going to throw the same pitch, 3-1, the fastball.
Correa hitting his 11th. Springer numbers 15 and 16. That's a 3-2 count now. Martin Perez about to make his 90th pitch of the game in the 4th inning. What Springer did before he got his pitch was he spoiled a lot of good pitches. And we have seen the Astros do that time and time again.
No, I'm with you. I had the same thought as soon as I saw Carlos Correa. That was a good 3-2 pitch from Martin Perez, but he just kind of, the only intent was to try and fight that pitch off, even in a 3-2 count.
And he takes ball 4. And that might be the end of the day, and it is for Martin Perez. He issues a walk to Carlos Correa with 2 outs in the 4th inning. Out comes Jeff Bannister to get his left-hander. We'll come back and tell you about the new reliever coming in the game for the Texas Rangers. Astros lead this game 6-0 as we play in the 4th.
here in Arlington with them leading 6-0 over the Texas Rangers with this pitching change in the top of the fourth. Join the Astros for Star Wars night. I love this. At the ballpark this Friday night. Choose the Star Wars t-shirt ticket package for the return of the Beltran Jedi bobblehead package. Packages are limited, so visit astros.com/Star Wars to get yours today.
You do love it?
I'm a Star Wars fan.
Yes.
I've totally indoctrinated my entire family except my wife. So my kids are all in, and we love the Star Wars epic films. It's great.
The reason I'm excited is because you can carry the booth when it comes to Star Wars references.
Yes,
because I'm not a Star Wars guy, so I'm glad.
We had a Star Wars day in Seattle, and Julia got to interview Chewbacca, and I was severely jealous. I mean, there's not many times. I mean, she gets to obviously eat a lot of good food and do some cool stories, but the Chewbacca one, I was a little jealous.
She interviews Patrick Beverly, Andre Johnson, no problem.
Yeah.
JJ, well,
Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey.
Nah. But give me Chewie.
Chewie. Saw the new pitcher, Tony Barnett, on for the Rangers. First base, Evan Gattis. I'm excited. Star Wars, all Star Wars promos are heading Blummer's way between now and.
Oh, you know it.
Yes. One and one to count to Evan Gattis. Evan 0 for 2 against Martin Perez, who last 3 and 2/3 innings is responsible for the runner on first base. Carlos Correa is also already allowed 6 runs in this game. One and 2 the count. Even though the Astros got to HOU Darvish for 5 innings of work and had him leave the game with a high pitch count of 104. All 4 of those innings were soaked up by one reliever, Dylan G. So the Rangers bullpen is not quite as bad as if they use a number of guys on Friday night. Last night they had the starter go 6 innings, Andrew Kashner, and used 3 out of the bullpen. But the Astros continue to put runs up on the road, coming in averaging almost 6.7 runs per game on the season away from home. 3 of those came against HOU Darvish on a Carlos Correa home run.
Still plenty of game left in this 6th game to start this road trip, and they've scored 59 runs so far.
28 of them came against the Twins bullpen.
It just wasn't nice.
Gattis with a 3-2 count. Astros fans have had their share of suffering in this ballpark the last couple of years, but it is turning around. Correa will get a head start with 2 outs and a 3-2 count. And Gattis pulls one just foul. AJ said it in that article you referenced earlier, that the AL West title still goes through Arlington. They are the defending champions. They have been the last 2 years. But if the first third of the season plus this series are any indication, it could be a new sheriff in town in 2017.
Yeah, these guys know they're good. They're playing very good baseball, but I think that's the right mentality to have.
They are the defending champs 2 years running as Odor puts it away.
George Springer back at it. Multi-home run game. 2nd one on this road trip, driving into that bullpen, which led to all kinds of fun for these Houston Astros, leading 6-0 here in the 4th.
Astros leading the Rangers 6-0. Brad Peacock has been very good through his first 3 innings of work. Only runner that has reached was on a hit by pitch, raising the jersey of Elvis Andrus on a fastball his first time up. Andrus leads off the 4th. This game has kind of followed the pattern of the season in terms of opponents' average against for both pitchers. Peacock came in with a 138 opponent's average. Rangers are 0 for 9 against him, and Martin Perez had an average above 300 for the opponents. And the Astros knocked him out with 7 hits in 3 2/3 innings. On the ground, right back to the pitcher. Brad Peacock has it on 1 hop, and he retires Andrus for the first out in the 4th.
How about the changeup? 81 miles an hour. You talk about pulling the string. That's dropping a good 10, 11 miles an hour. But again, right on right, not afraid to throw that thing, and created the soft contact off Elvis Andrus, who's probably arguably one of the hottest hitters in this Rangers lineup right now.
He does not throw many right-on-right changeups.
No.
That's a guy who is brimming with confidence right now. You can see he has thrown a first pitch strike to 10 of 11. That one just missed outside. 10 of 12 now as Mazara takes ball 1.
Well, a lot of people at home, if they're watching Brad Peacock for the first time start a ball game, he does start out of the stretch even with nobody on base. And I think a lot of that is because he's gotten so comfortable out of the bullpen. And if you've got something that you're successful with at this level, I think you stick with it. But I think for Brad Peacock, really simplifying that windup for him has really benefited him. It hasn't done anything to his velocity. His slider is still great. He's not afraid to throw a changeup every once in a while, but I just think simplifying that has been really beneficial for him.
I think the key today will be to watch what happens for Brad as he works through the 5th and 6th inning. Because if you go back to his last start, he was very good through 4, only allowed a 2-out 4th inning single to Joe Mauer. It was the 5th inning that caught him. And his previous start, he was brilliant against the Tigers, going 4 1/3 innings, only allowing 1 hit. So all 3 starts, first 3-4 innings, Peacock's been outstanding. It's what happens beyond that today that we will watch for. There's a line drive, base hit into left center field. Marisnick quickly over to cut it off. Mazara will make a wide turn, but hold up with a single. Three new 5-game packs are now available for a limited time only. Don't miss a chance to bring the whole family to see the biggest matchups or get the best midweek deals by visiting astros.com/mini-plan. So first hit allowed by Brad Peacock, coming with 1 out in the 4th. Last start it was 2 outs in the 4th when Mauer had the hit. Here's Adrian Beltran, who struck out his first time up. Beltran has hit in all 5 games since coming off the disabled list, missing the first 51 games for the Rangers this year. Ground ball toward short, could be to Correa to Altuve, who takes his time, throws wide, and Beltran is safe. Almost too much time for Altuve as he threw wide, and Gurriel tried to make the tag on Beltran. That should have been an inning-ending double play.
Yeah, it was a momentary lapse in judgment for Jose Altuve. Usually a fundamentally sound. He's beating himself up right now because he does know better. Took it a little bit for granted and didn't fire that throw over to first base. You can see he's airing himself out right now. You really want to finish this play for your pitcher, Brad Peacock, who's pitching so well. When they give you 2 outs, you've got to take those 2 outs. Beltran doesn't run all that well anymore, or Beltran, I apologize, doesn't run all that well anymore, so that should have been a guaranteed double play.
These are extra pitches on Brad Peacock's ledger. I mean, the throw beat him by 3 steps, maybe 4. But it was way off line.
Well, you talked about Brad Peacock possibly going into that 5th, 6th inning trying to get deep in this deep in this game to save the bullpen. You hope that doesn't have an effect on it.
You can't assume a double play. That's why there is no error given, but that's about as easy a double play as you will see. And instead, Peacock down to the count 3-0 on Joey Gallo. There's a strike on the inside corner, 3-1. Gallo moving up in the order today, hitting in the number 5 spot. He's had most of his success this year with his team leading 16 home runs, hitting in the number 7 spot in the lineup. They flip things around and move Gallo up and Odor down.
3-1 changeup. Talk about not giving in. I like it.
Well, Peacock was down 3-0 and now has the count full. Ball 4.
Just overthrew that fastball, wanting that strikeout or that out of Joey Gallo. A little too bad.
Now batting the catcher,
There's Robinson Chirinos. He was a strikeout victim his first time up. Peacock struck out 5 of the first 9 batters he faced. Nobody wants to see Brad Peacock get a quick out here more than Jose Altuve. Maybe even more than Brad Peacock himself.
Yeah, what should have been an inning-ending double play is now added at least 5 pitches to that pitch count for Brad Peacock.
3-2 walk to Gallo, and now the first pitch is low to Chirinos, 1-0. You still see hands on hips, hat tilted up.
If there's a baseball within 30 feet of Jose Altuve off the bat of Chirinos, I guarantee you that guy is going to be somewhere near it, because he is going to be flying all over the place to try and make up for that.
All of a sudden, Peacock, who was so good with his command after that extra out in the inning, has struggled. He went 3-0 on Gallo, and now he's 2-0 on Chirinos.
It's got to be tough as a pitcher to know that you did your job. You gave up the first hit of this game to Nomar Mazara. Then you get a ground ball, which should have been a sure double play that's not turned behind you. Mentally, you've got to just wipe that away and attack that next hitter and try not to let that have any effect on you.
The bottom line is you've got 6 runs to work with.
Yes.
Just walked a batter, and now you're 2-0 on the next bat.
Yeah, you don't want to walk these guys back into the game.
On the ground, Correa will flip to Altuve, and that's the force out. So Peacock gets through it. A couple of men left to board. We are through 4. It's 6-0.
Arlington for the Houston Astros, up 6-0 over the Rangers. And we've got our steel power player. It is Carlos Beltran doing extremely well of late. That was a big 3-run blast in Minnesota to cap off that 11-run inning. But in the last 6 games, you see that average. He's one of those 6 guys at 385 or better. He's also added 3 home runs, 7 RBIs, and scoring 7 runs. We've seen him hustle out some infield hits, but here recently getting some revenge ABs against these Rangers who let him go in the offseason, helping contribute to the Houston Astros' efforts to get deep into the postseason this season.
Carlos now with a .257 batting average. Been on base a couple of times today. Takes a called strike, 0-1. When Beltran doubled in the first inning, he moved into a tie for 29th all-time in Major League Baseball history with Alex Rodriguez, 548 career doubles. On the ground towards second, Odor to his right, and Beltran retired for the first out of the 5th inning. So 1 out, base is cleared. Astros already into the Rangers bullpen. Tony Barnett picking up the final out of the 4th inning. Now he'll face Marwin Gonzalez. Marwin hit a line drive off of Martin Perez, turned into an out his first time up. Also doubled, now turning around batting left-handed. On the ground towards first. Gallo will take the play himself. Out number 2. Well, the lights are on now here at Globe Life Park, and we have a little weather nearby. We had a 2-hour, 6-minute rain delay on Friday night.
Yeah, we might be able to, or we might be getting just a quick thunderstorm. Yeah, I don't think it's anything too awful.
Seeing some people on Twitter that are having trouble with their cable service today. Some weather in the Houston area.
It's raining pretty good down there right now. Yep.
Fouled off the bat of Gurriel, 0-1. Yuli a sac fly his last time up, also a single to run scored. Astros leading 6-0. They've scored a run in every inning against Martin Perez. Tony Barnett, who's been a little bit inconsistent this year, has come in and retired the first 3 he's faced. Now count of 1-1. There's that fastball around 93. That cutter, he really relies on that cutter a lot, around 89 miles an hour. That ball's driven deep to left field. Yuli Gurriel has added to the total. 4th home run for the Astros, and they lead it 7-0.
Set up down and away. That would look like a little bit of a cutter, maybe a slider that backs up off of Barnett, and just sitting on a tee for Yuli Gurriel. Hammers it out of here.
Yuli's 5th of the season. Goes 392 feet. Here's Alex Bregman. Bregman takes a strike, 0-1. Astros are putting on a long ball display today. Springer in the 1st, Correa in the 3rd, Springer again in the 4th, and now Gurriel in the 5th. A run in every inning, and it's 7-0. Bregman fouls one away, and he's down on the count, 0-2.
Talk about Yuli going up the middle the other way so well with the fastball, and this is why when he gets the off speed hanging up out of the plate, that's what he's able to do. Recognize the hands are always in a good position, but just driving through the baseball, and every side swing we've seen on home runs has been picture perfect.
I've seen Altuve hit some home runs with his back foot up off the ground. Gurriel's back foot was about 6 inches off the ground.
And that's that Walt Greniak style of hitting, or the thought process is you load that cannon, and then you force everything against that front side. So everything's going, all of your momentum, all of your energy is at impact is on that front leg.
I've seen people leave their back feet, but maybe not that to that height before. That was incredible. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Bregman goes down as Chirinos won't even have to bother to tag him as Bregman leaves home plate. So the Astros are out in the 5th, but a solo home run by Gurriel.
With this home run, the Astros have scored in every inning in this game so far. 4 via the long ball. Yuli getting in on the long ball action.
Astros fans enjoying another display of Crush City. 7-0, bottom half of the 5th inning. Brad Peacock trying to work through the 5th inning for the first time this season. Gurriel hitting his 5th home run of the year in the top half. Peacock will have 7, 8, and 9, bottom third of the Rangers order. That's usually not where you find Odor. But Odor batting lower than 5th for the first time this year, dropping down to the number 7 spot. He has really been battling it lately. Odor does have good numbers against Brad Peacock in his career, 4 for 7 with a home run. Peacock, after having pinpoint control, throwing strikes to 10 of the first 11 hitters he faced, went 3-0 on Joey Gallo, 2-0 on Robinson Chirinos, and now 3-0 on Odor. So he is all of a sudden struggling with the strike zone a little bit with this big lead. There's a pitch on the inside corner, 3-1. Odor with 4 strikeouts in last night's game. That matched his career high. He was just 2 for his last 18. That's the reason for the drop in the lineup. Strike again, 3-2.
Well, and he's done it with runners on base too. Usually a reliable run producer, but in this series alone, we've seen him leave plenty of guys on base.
Deep down the right field line, and Odor has hit a home run. First run of the game for the Texas Rangers, a solo home run against Brad Peacock. It's now 7-1.
Look like a hanging changeup.
Odor's second career home run against Peacock, his 8th home run of the season. And here's Jared Hoying. Hoying grounded out his first time up. Swings at the first pitch and fouls it back. Fifth inning is where Peacock ran into some issues in his last start. All four runs allowed in that start against the Twins came in the fifth. A few raindrops start to fall. All fans, at least on the first base side, start to head to the exits. Not sure if it's reached the third base side yet. They're kind of staying their ground. 1-2 pitch down and in. It's 2-2.
Well, if there is a rain delay, it'll give me a chance to get into the thesaurus. Try and look up some better words to describe what the Astros are doing.
Well, Brad Peacock, for one, wants to continue to play right here. You never know how long the delay is, and Peacock's thrown a lot of pitches. He gets a strikeout of Hoying. 1 out in the fifth. Not only does Peacock need 5 innings to qualify for a win, but an official game is after 5. 1 out, base is empty. Pete Cosma at the plate. Started out as a light rain, is increasing a little bit here. Hosmer takes a strike. Cosma struck out his first time up. That last strikeout of Hoying was strikeout number 6 for Peacock. 5 the first time through the lineup. Now Cosma wrapping up the Rangers' second time through the lineup against Brad. When's the roof coming? 2021?
Yeah, plenty of time left. Who needs a roof when you got a poncho?
1-2 the count. Home run by Odor, just the second hit allowed by Brad Peacock in this game. On the ground, backhanded nicely by Bregman. Long throw, picked by Gurriel. Out number 2.
Nice play by Alex. Got a wet track right now. Good backhand play. Best part about it is when he gets to that backhand side, he sets that right foot, comes over the top to make a nice strong throw, which is great, and a good pick by Yuli. It's a lot easier for your first baseman to pick up that ball out of your hand and see the trajectory of the baseball when you throw that good four-seamer over the top.
Is that something that needs to be a little more consistent? Has he dropped down at times?
Well, it's tough because you get a shortstop who you can get away slinging the ball, you know, three-quarters style. You move over to third base and it's a much longer throw. You want to have a little bit more truer trajectory and ball flight out of it. So when I moved from short to third, I tried to really get on top and grab that four seam because I wanted to make that first baseman's job as easy as possible. Benefits everybody when nobody gets an error.
So your mindset different in your throws when you went to third.
Yes. I didn't emphasize quickness as much as I did strength of throw.
1-1 pitch, a good breaking ball on the outside corner, 1-2.
At shortstop, you had more time to get your body in position to go towards first base. And you could see on that play with Alex Bregman going to his right away from first base. What he did great was stopped, planted that right foot, and created a new momentum going back towards first.
Swing and a miss. Peacock gets the strikeout. He now has 7 through 5 innings. Game is official with the Astros leading 7-1. by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by Experian. Credit isn't just a score, it's a skill. Battle of the Lone Star Series, presented by the Texas Lottery. Lone Star Series has been owned by the Rangers in 2015 and 2016. Astros turning things around in 2017. They lead this series 5-1 in the first 6 and then lead today by the score of 7-1. Jake Marisnick will lead things off, and he fouls one back and out of play. Astros had a chance to sweep a 4-game set against the Rangers back at Minute Maid Park, and these two teams met in the first 4 days of May. Astros winning games 1, 2, and 3, but then Texas winning that final game 10-4. Now the Astros going for a 3-game sweep in the Rangers ballpark, as Marisnick has a count of 1-1. Jake looking for his first hit, flied out deep to left field his last time up. He's also grounded into a double play. Tony Barnett in his second full inning of work, allowing a solo home run to Yuli Gurriel, the only base runner he's allowed. Rain shower, which at times was heavy in the bottom half of the 5th inning, seems to have subsided. They have another system moving through later on as the day continues. 2-2 the count to Jake. Astros with a run every inning, including 4 home runs. Jake towards left field. It's not deep enough though, as Mazzara puts it away right in front of the warning track.
Jake just missed it, but we're going to look back at a great AB by George Springer. In that 4th inning, got off speed down and away, fastball up and in, tried to go off speed away. You can see they're working that outside part of the plate, trying to get George to reach. He eventually does, but he starts spoiling some pretty good pitches from Perez until he makes that mistake up and in, and he brings the hands in nicely to get the barrel on it, drives through it, but a high quality at bat. You're going to hear A.J. Hinch say that a lot in a lot of his pre and post game interviews. Quality ABs, and that was definitely one of them.
George has had 2 home run games in his last 4 starts. Had one against the Twins on Wednesday, and today once again. You look at his numbers right now with 6 home runs in his last 8 games. We've already seen Correa and McCullers take home hardware for American League Player and Pitcher of the Month. This guy's making a bid for Player of the Week with all these home runs.
Ooh. You better keep that barrel alert alive the way George has been going.
Springer with a 2 home run game. We mentioned in the last 4 days twice, 5 times in his career. He has never hit 3 home runs in a game. He's going to have at least 2 at-bats to get a chance to do that today. Bats here with 1 out in the 6th inning. Unless A.J. elects to take him out of the game early, of course, which we don't anticipate. Barnett gets him swinging. Second strikeout for Tony Barnett. 2 outs in the 6th.
MLB.TV Premium is back and better than ever with great picture quality and a free at-bat premium subscription. So you can watch every out-of-market regular season game live on over 400 mobile and connected devices. Blackout and other restrictions do apply. Visit MLB.TV for details.
Surprisingly, one of the few guys in the lineup who has not done any damage is the guy at the plate, Jose Altuve, who swings wildly at that first pitch, 0-1. Astros have 3 strikeouts as a team. Altuve has struck out in the 2nd and the 4th inning. 0 for 3 overall. An 0 for 3 on the road for Altuve feels like an 0 for 10 for most guys. Coming in batting .442 on the road this season. Trying to keep a hitting streak alive, which is at 7 games right now. Two and one. Altuve with a 3-hit game yesterday, pushing that batting average up to .329 at the start of the day. Good pitch on the corner. It's 2-2. That .329 mark has Altuve all the way up to 4th in the American League. He'd been outside the top 10 before this hitting streak started. Now it's 3-2. Ball 4, Altuve draws a 2-out walk. So no 1, 2, 3 innings through 6 for the Texas Rangers pitching staff.
It's a big inning. They have to score.
They were down to 2 outs last inning. Nobody on, and Gurriel hit a home run. They were down to 2 outs, nobody on in this inning. Saw a note on Carlos Correa with that 440-foot home run in the 3rd inning. ESPN stats that had it on Twitter is that Correa has hit 10 career home runs 440 feet or more.
Wow.
None of them at Minute Maid Park, surprisingly.
It is kind of odd.
All his longest home runs, all 10 of his longest home runs have come on the road. We saw the longest home run of the season for the Astros and the 2nd longest in the major leagues come on this road trip off the bat of George Springer at Target Field in Minnesota.
You don't have to hit him that far at Minute Maid. That's just showing off when you do that. I would have loved to have seen George hit that baseball he hit in Minnesota at Minute Maid Park. He might have hit that over our cameras in left center field there.
I'm trying to envision where that would have gone.
Right?
In Minute Maid Park.
That would have been Sammy Sosa-esque into the lights.
Swing and a miss. 2-1 the count on Carlos Correa. Correa checking to see if that was a strike with Ryan Blakeney, the home plate umpire. We have a mix of blue skies and some dark clouds. Seems to have improved in the last inning or so. Sunshine on part of the stadium. Some fans still have their umbrellas up. Three and one the count on Carlos. Springer hit one into the Astros bullpen. Correa hit one over the Astros bullpen today.
Yeah. Again.
I think the line of the day was when Springer hit the leadoff home run and you deadpanned and said, pretty good start. Just another day in Astros baseball.
You're into that kind of thing.
6th leadoff home run of the year for George. Got things going for Houston today. 3-1 pitch. Breaking ball for a called strike.
Let's look back at that Carlos Correa home run. Some kind of special. Martin Perez trying to beat these Astros inside. Didn't work out all that well. But a nice souvenir out over that Astros bullpen in left center field.
Correa's 3 for 4 in his career against Barnett with a double. Has a 3-2 count here against Tony Barnett. And a walk. Back-to-back walks. Altuve and now Correa. So the Astros can keep this streak alive of scoring in every inning, but they'll have to do so against a different reliever as Jeff Bannister comes out to take out Tony Barnett. Barnett facing 9 hitters, allowing a home run and a couple of walks. He's responsible for the 2 on. We'll tell you about the new Texas pitcher when we come back. Sixth inning, back-to-back walks to Jose Altuve and Carlos Correa with 2 outs. And the Texas Rangers will go to their 3rd pitcher of this game, right-hander Nick Martinez.
So take a look at Nick Martinez, give you an idea of some of the stuff that he's got. Fastball, 90 to 93 miles an hour. He will cut it every once in a while. Also has a slider and a changeup. Big 12-6 curve ball. Working out of that Rangers bullpen. He does have a couple of starts under his belt.
He was a candidate to start their game Tuesday. They have an off day tomorrow. They start a series Tuesday against the New York Mets, a quick 2-game set. Coming in out of the bullpen here, facing Evan Gattis. And it's 1-0 to Evan. Evan looking for his first hit, reached on an error, also has grounded out and popped up. Astros have scored in every inning. This inning they had 2 outs with nobody on before back-to-back walks. Now Martinez has come out and missed on the first 2 to Evan Gattis. First relief appearance of the year for Nick. And a pop-up just beyond the infield. Elvis Andrus puts it away for the final out of the 6th inning. So for the first time today, the Astros did not score in an inning. They still lead 7-1.
bottom of the 6th here in Arlington. Brad Peacock in some uncharted territory for 2017. He's back out for the 6th inning. He's making his 3rd start after coming out of the bullpen to start this season. And the transition, not an easy one. You hear that a lot, and the endurance has been building for Brad. AJ said that he feels like Brad can get them to the point where he can carry them deeper into games. He's there now. 3rd time through the order, though, is going to be the next hill for Brad to climb. They're hoping that he can do a little better there, which is where he'll go to work right now. But, guys, bullpen has a lot of guys down today, so Peacock could be doing them a favor as well.
No doubt about it, Julia, as Andrews sends a line drive past Alex Bregman into left field for a base hit. That's how the Rangers start the bottom half of the 6th inning. Look at how the Astros have used their bullpen in this series. They have Chris Stevenski, who has thrown both games. Ken Giles has pitched in both games. Will Harris as well. You may see the bullpen start to stir a little bit, as Julia mentioned. Brad Peacock working into the 6th inning for the first time. Last time he pitched against these Rangers, Peacock went 6 innings. Last time he pitched against them as a starter, that is. He went 6 innings and started at Minute Maid Park last September 13th. Only allowed 1 run on 3 hits. In this game, he's allowed 1 run on 3 hits and trying to get through the order for the 3rd time. Here's Nomar Mazara on the ground, off the glove of Peacock. Correa's there. Nicely done by the Astros shortstop. Might have been a double play if Peacock fielded it cleanly.
I think it might have been 2, but that was a good play by Carlos Correa, ranging far to his left, understanding in that shift the only play was to go to first. Good job moving to his left by the big man.
Peacock had 75 pitches, as he'll deal with Adrian Beltran. There goes the runner to 3rd. Gaddis' throw is not in time. Evan made it a close play on a great jump by Andrews.
That was a great tag by Alex Bregman, too. Interesting spot to try and steal 3rd. Run is relatively meaningless, and you're already in scoring position with a Hall of Fame RBI producer. Ooh.
Remember, the Astros don't have any challenges left.
It was a lot closer than I thought it would be.
Astros used a challenge in the very 1st inning, top half of the 1st. And a potential hit by pitch against Carlos Correa.
Well, we can review it.
We can.
I'm ringing him up.
What? Just because you can't review it?
Yep. That's all you're going to see of it ever again. I was right.
2-1 the count to Beltran. Astros with the infield back. They will trade an out for a run here with a 7-1 lead in the 6th inning. And 2-2 the count on Beltran. Adrian coming into this game with a 5-game hitting streak, 2,950 career hits. Now it's 3-2. Swing and a miss. Peacock gets Beltran on the slider. That was a big strikeout with 1 out. Runner on 3rd base for Brad. Keep that runner there for now. 2 outs in the 6th.
Yeah, that didn't look comfortable for Adrian Beltran. There were a couple fastballs early in the count that I thought were pretty good pitches to hit, but he looked like he was getting beat on them, but just not picking that ball up out of the hand of Brad Peacock.
Peacock had never had back-to-back starts in his career with 8 strikeouts or more. He now has 8 strikeouts in 3 straight starts. Gallo's going to pick up Beltran, though, with an RBI hit with 2 outs. Joey Gallo with his 34th run batted in on a single to right center. It's now a 7-2 game.
Yeah, you do want to see Peacock get out of this inning, but we're starting to see some of these off-speed pitches flutter up out over the plate. Joey Gallo with the base hit, ambushing that off-speed pitch early, has struck out 44% of the time this season.
In an ideal world, AJ would like to see at least 6 out of Peacock. He would take more than that, as Brad is at 82 pitches right now. Pitch to Chirinos is low for a ball, 1-0.
And the only thing that's kept Peacock from getting into that 6th inning might be that pitch count. And he does get a little flustered off the edges, but his stuff, for me, is good enough to go out there and pitch into six innings in a ball game.
His strikeout total has been impressive all year long. And now we see 8 more strikeouts today. He's at 31 innings exactly. And he has 46 strikeouts on the year with the 8 more today. But 46 strikeouts in 31 total innings is almost a strikeout and a half per inning.
It's a good number.
Today he's allowed 4 hits and a couple of runs. 1-1 count to Robinson Chirinos. And now Peacock ahead 1-2. Chirinos, one of the strikeout victims, his first time up. He's also bounced into a fielder's choice. Evan Gattis with a word for his starting pitcher, Brad Peacock.
70 pitches in that first start against Detroit for Brad Peacock. The next start out went 78 pitches. There you see the count in the upper left at 85. So it's nice to see him progressing as far as lengthening out his starts.
Brad's father here in Arlington watching his son pitch. There goes the runner, swing and a miss. That's strikeout number 9 for Brad Peacock, his season high. He allows a run on a couple of hits, but he's through 6 with the Astros leading 7-2.
Houston Astros are leading 7-2 over the Texas Rangers, and we've got some league leaders. They're going to be presented to you by Houston Methodist. Last 5 teams to start 40-16. You see the result on the right-hand side has been very complimentary to everybody except that 2001 Seattle Mariners team. It's kind of interesting. They were built for a very good regular season, did a great job accruing a ton of wins, but just couldn't follow through once they got into that ALCS against the New York Yankees. But the odds are definitely in the favor of the Houston Astros getting off to this great start to do some wonderful things there in the postseason.
Interesting numbers in that the team with the fewest wins of that group. Last year's Cubs that ended with 103.
Those are big numbers, big win totals.
Astros are putting themselves in very rare company with that group at 40-16 or better, as Carlos Beltran starts out with a couple of strikes, facing Nick Martinez. Martinez in his first full inning of work picked up an out for the final out of the 6th inning. Beltran tries to hold up. He does. It's 1-2. Carlos has been on base a couple of times today. A double, an RBI double, and also a walk and a run scored. Just missed the inside corner. 2-2. Astros mentioned earlier they have a little bit of fatigue in their bullpen with 3 guys having pitched the last 2 days, but a couple of lefties are well rested. Tony Sipp and Raymond Gudwan. And it's Sipp who's warming up right now, with a couple of lefties due up for the Rangers in the 7th inning. Odor and Hoying, the first 2 batters, due up. 2-2 the count to Beltran. Astros trying to improve to 6-0 on this road trip. Trying to win their 10th consecutive road game, which would match a franchise record. 4 more games to go on this trip. They're getting tomorrow in Kansas City. Counts 3-2. Martinez is a starter mostly for the Rangers, so he could go all the way to the 9th if they want him to. Called 3rd strike on Beltran. His pitch placed on the outside corner.
In recent history, you've got the Cubs in 2016 with that same record. You can see the comparison statistically. I think the number that really jumps out to a lot of us is on that bottom line. That 2.65 ERA was beautiful for the Chicago Cubs. Even though they're scoring a lot of runs, the Astros almost a full run higher in that ERA.
There you see the differences.
Pretty comparable.
In case you're wondering at home, game 57, the Cubs lost. So the Astros have a chance to have a better record than Chicago through 57 games if they hold on to this 7-2 lead. Marwin Gonzalez bats. Marwin grounded out, doubled, grounded out again, 1 for 3.
I want to go out on a limb and say the Cubs were getting a little more attention than these Houston Astros, and they have the same similar records, if not a better offense. It's hard to believe you can have a record like that after 56 games and fly under the radar nationally.
Best record in baseball for 3.5 weeks running.
I was watching the Cubs just because they had that great record. I'm sure a lot of people around the country would like to know that there's another team matching that Cubs team.
Astros, who have had that best record in baseball tag since their series with the Yankees, just continue to play outstanding baseball, and just when you think they've peaked, they do something else. Makes you stand up and notice. Here's a pop-up left side. Martinez gets Gonzalez for the 2nd out. 2 away in the 7th.
First baseman Gurriel.
Here's Yuli Gurriel. Really having a nice game. Single, scored a run. Sac fly, knocked in a run. Solo home run. 2 runs, 2 RBIs, 2 for 2.
You know what George Springer says to that? That's cute.
Not bad.
Good to see Yuli getting on the board with that bomb. Homers are great.
Saw 4 of them so far today from the Astros. 2 from Springer, 1 from Correa, 1 from Gurriel. Yuli's another one of those guys hitting better on the road this year. Coming in at .310. Add a 2 for 2 to that. And he's got a 2-1 count here. When you saw that home run by Yuli, you said that, you know, that back foot is something you see a little bit. Frank Thomas, I guess, is the guy who.
He's the one that jumps out to me. Just, I was not one of those guys. Usually, I was a back leg guy that really spun on that backside to drive through the baseball. But there's a philosophy out there, much like Frank Thomas and Yuli Gurriel, where they get loaded on the backside and they put all that energy onto that front foot. So all of the inertia, all the push that they have is going into that contact of the baseball, and in doing so, at contact, you'll see that back foot elevated off the ground. Here's a good look at that home run swing. Popping up. Watch that back foot. Watch how he loads on the backside, then everything transitions onto that front leg, and then all the force is put through the swing in that barrel. And there you see that foot coming off that ground on the backside. And it's whatever you're comfortable with. That's how some guys are taught. Other guys aren't taught the same way, where they're taught to squash the bug, I guess, so to speak, on the backside.
Two pitches in on Yuli. It's 3-2. So this will qualify as a rare extended at bat for Yuli Gurriel. Coming in, averaging fewer pitches per plate appearance than anybody in baseball. He has drawn 5 walks this year. Sharply hit. Andrews bobbles. Time to recover. And for the first time today, the Astros go down in order, 1-2-3. 7th inning stretch time here at Globe Life Park in Arlington, with the Astros leading by the score of 7-2. We're going to stay right here.
Veterans who have served our country, and the servicemen and women who are currently stationed at home and around the world, Jill will now perform God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans, white with foam, God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
leading the Rangers. Oh, it's time to reveal the winner of our Chevy Stroll poll. We asked you what has been the biggest difference between the 2017 Astros and other Astros teams, and 64% of you voted for better depth. So I'm actually a little surprised that veteran leadership didn't get as many votes. That might have been where my vote had come in with the balance on this team. I want to ask you guys in the booth what you would have voted for.
E. All the above.
Come on, it's too easy.
I know. I like the depth idea, though, because I agree in the sense that the guys that you have gotten to create the depth are contact guys and put together great ABs, and I really think that's influenced this ball club. And AJ made his job a lot easier. You know that.
Yeah, I was surprised, as Julia was, that veteran leadership didn't get a higher percentage. To me, the two choices would have been the depth or the veteran leadership. You know, the fact that, as Tony Sipp starts the bottom half of the 7th inning, the fact that Brian McCann and Josh Reddick and Carlos Beltran and Nori Aoki all came into the stadium this time around, and they really didn't have any thoughts of Ranger domination because they weren't a part of it the last 2 years.
And they don't care.
And
it's part of that veteran, mentality is that you go in and go, hey, that was last year. We got a whole new mission this year.
And there's something to be said, as Odor has a 2-1 count and now a strike 2-2. Something to be said for guys that are always a calming influence, and they're as good as the young stars are on this team. They have been pushed to different levels this year by those veterans. 2-2 pitch is popped up. Alex Bregman, the only one on the left side of the infield, makes the play for out number 1. But the depth's another thing. I mean, up and down the lineup, you've got a different star every game, and your 3 guys on the bench on any given night could start for a lot of teams.
Absolutely. But that veteran experience is something you can't put a number to. Those guys do have a huge influence and an experience with these young guys. We talked about the age of Carlos Correa being a young man. Lance McCullers is young. Alex Bregman is extremely young. Playing 162 games is not easy. And those guys help you kind of maintain things and steady the ship, make sure things don't get too bad or too high.
Delino DeShields will pinch hit for Jared Hoying. Saw the other day that if Bannister likes to go lefty righty when possible. But Sipp's actually been better this year against right-hand hitters. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Look at Tony's numbers in his career. He's been pretty even in his splits between righties and lefties. But this year, Sipp has been much better against right-hand hitters. 0.91 batting average. They're just 2 for 21 against him. And he's ahead of DeShields. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Sipp working to the bottom third of the order with a 7-2 lead. Two and two. Brad Peacock, nice job today. Goes 6 full innings. Deepest Brad has taken a game this season. He allowed 2 runs on 4 hits. Pretty much what AJ was hoping for when this day started. Julia mentioned the bullpen has been taxed a little bit. He wanted to see as few innings as possible put on his bullpen arms, and today he's asking for 9 outs with a 5-run lead after Peacock's 6 innings of work. Ball is driven to left field. Back on it goes Gonzalez. Still going back. It's off the wall. Marwin will play it off the wall. Delano to Shields in with a one-out double.
It was Brad Peacock's day after the first 2 wins for the Astros. He had himself an opportunity to put the Astros in a position to sweep, and he has. He's also pitching for a spot in that rotation. He's put up great numbers. There you see the line score across the bottom. It's great to see him pushing into that 6th inning. But that number on the right-hand side is what makes a lot of guys in that front office extremely excited. He has the ability to create swing and miss. Saw some very good fastballs. The slider was awfully effective, 9 punch-outs. But that changeup also mixed in there nicely to keep some of those hitters off balance. It was a lot of fun to watch him go out and work.
Season high in strikeouts, just 2 off his career high, which he set against these same Rangers in 2014. Pete Kozma with a foul, 0-1. Kozma struck out and grounded out against Peacock. We were speculating earlier, hopefully Joe Musgrove comes back for the Astros in the next homestand, and if things stay as they are now, that would be David Paulino's spot. But there's also that Mike Fiers and Brad Peacock situation where the next guy that comes back, assuming it's Charlie Morton, one of those guys will be moved out of the rotation, and there's no guarantee, as we saw Peacock initially moved into that rotation and Fiers for a day moved to the bullpen. There's no guarantee it will be one or the other, so they're kind of pitching in a competition amongst themselves. Fiers will get a start tomorrow. Peacock's been very good this year. Wherever he's been used, he has answered the bell for A.J. Hinch and Brent Straub. 0-2 pitch is fouled out of play.
It could get interesting towards the end of July, seeing how that rotation shakes out. Because if Colin McHugh is advancing the way they expect, it could be the end of July or early August where you might have him mixed back in. But he's going to have to do a lot of work to get to that position. He's going to have to pitch in the minor leagues quite a bit to get those rehab starts and that arm lengthened out.
Sip strikes out Kozma. A lot of fans on social media have been asking us about Colin McHugh. Julie, what's the latest?
Well, talking to him today, he's throwing off the mound now about 15 to 20 pitches, just fastball changeups, which is a good sign. The next step would be throwing breaking balls after that, and that's kind of where you start to know if your arm's going to be in shape. There's no pain. His arm feels really good. The elbow feels good, but from there, they'll decide how many bullpens it takes before he's ready for the live BP. So at this point, it's just like spring training, getting your body ready, getting your arm ready to make some of those rehab starts for Colin. But he's moving in the right direction. Everything's good up to this point, but still it's going to take some time.
Thank you for that update. As Shin-Soo Choo is hit by a pitch. Breaking ball from Sip. Gets Choo. He's a 2-out base runner, now first and second. And that was the last batter that Tony Sip would face. As A.J. Hinch is out of the dugout, Sip will leave the game with 2 on and 2 outs in the 7th. We'll tell you about the new Astros pitcher in just a moment. 7-2. Texas has 2 runners on, 2 outs in the 7th inning. These same 2 teams will face off again at Minute Maid Park from June 12th through the 14th. And here's a deal for you. For only $99, you can purchase a ticket package for all 3 games with a chance to win a signed memorabilia item, as well as batting practice passes for the June 14th game. Visit Astros.com/beatTheRangers to get your tickets. 6 games within the span of 2 weeks between these two in the Lone Star Series. As Michael Feliz is the new pitcher for the Houston Astros.
Good arm out of that bullpen for A.J. Hinch and these Astros. Electric fastball in the mid-90s. Also has a put-away slider. Great numbers, and another guy who has a great strikeout to walk ratio with those 31 punchies.
Faces Elvis Andrus with 2 runners on. DeShields on second, Chu on first, and 2 outs. Andrus has been the Rangers' best hitter over the last 6 games. He is 15 for 27 with 5 multi-hit games. 1 for 2 today. Andrus also has 10 RBIs in his last 4 games. There's a strike. Andrus didn't think so. Feliz ahead of the count, 0-2. Feliz taking over for Tony Sipp. Swing and a miss. Andrus goes down swinging. Feliz gets out of a 2-on, 2-out situation. We are through 7 from Globe Life Park with the Astros leading 7-2. In attendance at Globe Life Park in Arlington. Astros fans are having a good time this weekend. 7-1 on Friday, 6-5 last night. Today it's 7-2 as the Astros bat in the 8th. If you are curious when and if the last time was the Astros swept a series against the Rangers, it actually was here in Arlington. It did it July 7th through 9th in 2014, but it's been a difficult place for the Astros to win the last couple of years. 2-15 in their last 17 tries coming into this series. It has been a different season, and it's been a different weekend. Astros going for a 3-game sweep, trying to extend their winning streak to 10 games. Bregman into right field. Sliding effort, and the catch is made by Shin-Soo Choo for the first out. He has trouble getting back up and kind of laughs at himself.
the turtle. Kind of looked like a turtle on a shell when he caught that. Just kind of wobbling to get back up. Sorry.
He's still laughing about it. I think he watched the video replay. It was not pretty. 1 out, nobody on. Martinez has retired 5 batters so far coming out of the bullpen.
Yeah, the dismount was good and the catch is quality. Just the issues afterwards. Whoop. It's tough when you land under shell.
1-1 the count.
Sorry.
That's he had a good time with it. Jake's the only Astro that has not reached base yet. On the ground toward short, 2 big hops. Andrews, 2 outs.
The Astros Road Ahead is presented by DeMontronRV.com. We will eventually be leaving Arlington and heading a little bit north to face Kansas City for 4 games against those Royals. Those will all be night games before heading back home for an extended homestand with 3 against the Angels, 3 against these Texas Rangers, a day off on Thursday, and then bring on the American League East with the Boston Red Sox before going back into that American League West. Finish off the end of June. That's a lot of baseball. Only 1 day off for the Houston Astros.
George Springer, the batter, up the middle. Martinez has done his job as he retires the first 7 he faces out of the bullpen against an Astros team that had been dominating prior to that.
Bottom of the 8th. It's already time, baseball fans. The 2017 Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot is here. Head to astros.com/vote to choose your ASG-worthy stars and send them to the All-Star Game on July 11th in Miami, presented by MasterCard. Clouds are rolling in, guys.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of people back in Houston, too. South of Houston getting crushed right now. Hope everybody's safe and doing well. Hopefully your coverage is still available to watch the end of this ball game because the Astros have been playing well. But yeah, I think we're in for a little bit of our own up here.
Is that why you said eventually heading to Kansas City?
Yeah.
You saw the dark clouds?
Might be a little bit of a delay.
We're in the bottom of the 8th. Michael Feliz dealing with 3, 4, and 5. Nomar Mazara, Adrian Beltre, Joey Gallo. Feliz struck out Elvis Andrews with 2 on and 2 outs to end the 7th. And he starts out Mazzaro 2-0. I think some people in our stroll poll were talking about veteran leadership. We're thinking back to the Bagwell and Biggio days, but I think
those are good ones.
We were more comping it towards the more recent teams who have struggled here in Texas.
Well, and I mean, it was all part of the game plan, too. We know that Jeff Luhnow, being brought in here, his job was to accrue young talent and create a ball club that you're watching right now. He's done a very good job, but I think we saw last year, you know, there were some missing pieces. You know, analytics will tell you a lot of stuff, but the baseball ops, I think, had a chance to really say something and understand how veteran leadership can affect a clubhouse and can affect some of your younger guys. Because on the Latin side, Carlos Beltran, he's a great mentor for a guy like Carlos Correa. Even Jose Altuve, as good as he is, it's a lot to ask him to go out and lead with all the numbers and on the field stuff. He needs a little help as far as leading these guys in that clubhouse. And I think Beltran's taken a lot of heat off Altuve and allowed him to do a little bit more on the field and relax a little bit.
I love the fact that Carlos Beltran, as soon as he joined the Astros, had dinner with Correa and Altuve. I think it's one thing to hear from your teammates who are your peers and your same age that you're really good. But it's another thing to hear from a guy like Carlos Beltran, who's been on so many teams, a 20-year veteran, that you guys are some of the best in baseball.
Yeah, and maybe that's part of it too. Maybe they needed to hear that from a veteran guy like that to actually say, look, you guys are good. You can be better.
Correa, jumping catch in deep, short, shallow left. On cue, talking about Carlos Correa. He makes a phenomenal defensive play.
And it actually plays into the conversation you and I were just having. Just watch and enjoy the athleticism. And again, the Astros have a 5-run lead, not giving up on the play. And a lot of what I heard and what I understand when I got older going through the big leagues, and I think what Beltran was going to try and do when he came over here is help these guys play a full season. It's not that they don't play a full season, but sometimes you get in a game like this that we're seeing where it's a 5-run lead and you might just give in and say, it's going to take a lot of effort for me to make this play, but I'm just going to let it drop for a hit because it doesn't matter. Everything matters, and I think that's what Beltran is doing a good job of helping these guys understand. You play pitch to pitch. It's hard to do, but you play pitch to pitch. That was a spectacular play.
Correa made a twisting catch in a game a little more than a week ago at home in shallow center. This one not quite as high a degree of difficulty, but a very difficult play. And he saves Michael Feliz from pitching with a runner on base and nobody out. Now he's ahead of Adrian Beltre, 1-2. Astros lead 7-2, bottom half of the 8th inning. Tried to hold up, and he does, 2-2. Coming into this weekend series, the Astros led Texas by a dozen games. And they knew, based on the weekend's results, they would leave town anywhere from 9 to 15 games ahead of the Rangers, which would still be a nice cushion. But if they can put a little exclamation point on this weekend series and finish off with a sweep, not only would it be a 10-game winning streak, but the Rangers will be looking at a 15-game deficit the first weekend of June. Beltre has a hit in every game so far since coming back from the DL. Today he's 0 for 3, and he continues that hitting streak with a single to center field. Oh, Beltre, a 1-out base runner. Career hit total is going to move up a notch. Now 49 away from the 3,000 mark. That's pretty impressive. They have the full sign.
I was thinking the same thing.
It's not just one digit that's getting changed. They have a fresh sign for every hit number. 2950 goes away, gets rolled up, and they attempt to put 2951 up. A little tougher with the wind and the storm coming.
We need some help.
Eventually it'll get up there. Oh, Gallo takes a called strike.
May have his next hit by then.
You're wondering where that ranks in baseball history. It's number 33 on the all-time hit list. Two and one the count to Gallo. Reason Michael Feliz is pitching here is it's a 5-run game, and AJ's had some guys used extensively in this series. Chris Davinsky's pitched a couple of games. And Giles has pitched a couple of games. Will Harris has pitched a couple of games. He may go to different guys here to finish things out in the 8th and the 9th than you would normally see. Hoping to close things out at least. Gallo with a 2-2 count. He's been on base a couple of times. And he drills one to right field, but it's got a lot of top spin, and it's coming down for George Springer to put away for the second out. Two outs, runner on. Bring up Robinson Chirinos. The other thing navigating a winning streak, we talked about this earlier, is you have to keep rotating guys through the bullpen, because normally you have a certain amount of your 8 pitchers that you like to use in certain situations when you're ahead. This Astros offense has allowed AJ to kind of rotate through different guys. James Hoyt looks like he's having a good conversation with Will Harris. Called strike, 0-1. So for the most part, he's really been able to keep guys fresh and not overtax his bullpen. But today you may see Davinsky almost definitely will get the day off. You may see either Giles or Harris not move their arms today. Probably Giles. 0-1 pitch is popped high in the air, out of play. And Feliz had 1-2. The other avenue of that bullpen is you lose a guy like Peacock out of the bullpen, who moved into the starting rotation and pitched today. But then you've got a guy like Hoyt, you've got a guy like Feliz. You still have guys who can give you multiple innings.
Yeah, it kind of seems like the Astros leaving spring training almost had an emphasis on having 2 or 3 of those guys that are able to do that. But again, when we broke camp, we didn't know we were going to get Cy Keuchel. We were all worried about his health.
The big question marks in the spring were, or at least one of them was, Keuchel and McCullers. Could they return to form coming off injuries? Pitcher of the month in April, pitcher of the month in May.
Well, how about your first 2 picks in the 2012 draft being the pitcher of the month and player of the month? It's a good draft.
Really good draft. Correa, McCullers. First time ever in Astros history they have had both pitcher and player of the month in the same month. Correa's not exactly having a bad start to the month of June either. Swing and no contact by Chirinos. Feliz gets the strikeout. 1 left on. We're through 8. Lead 7-2, trying to get out of town with a sweep and win their 10th consecutive game, not only overall this season, but their 10th consecutive road game. Plummer, we look at clouds beyond the first base side, and there's no clock in baseball, but we might be on the clock here in terms of how much clean weather we have to finish this game.
Yeah, it's a little menacing out over that right field, I guess a first base part of this ballpark. But there's been some pictures tweeted out, and it looks like it's running right into us.
Saw one from the Arlington Police Department?
Yeah, the Arlington PD actually tweeted one out. Somebody retweeted it onto my thread, and it looked more like a bulldozer than it did a line of clouds.
The wind is blowing from first base towards left field, so this system may be on Globe Life Park in a matter of minutes as Jose Altuve, first pitch swinging. Astros don't mind that, even though it's an out. That's number one.
Texas Auto Diamond Kings. Cesar Cedeno was a Diamond King for the Houston Astros, 72-74. These are the years, 21 to 23 years old. Look at the monster numbers: 73 bombs, 254 RBIs, stealing those bases too. One of the true talents that I wish I would have been able to watch play in that Astro uniform. All-star all 3 of those seasons. A lot of the reason we bring up these comparisons and those great numbers is because the young man coming into the plate right now, and Carlos Correa, is doing similar things through that 21 to 23-year-old time in his life.
Correa's been retired once today on a line out to center field. He's also homered and walked twice.
This is the anniversary of Carlos Correa being the #1 pick overall for the Houston Astros. Lance McCullers, we talked about it already in that draft, but who knew at the time that that would be such a spectacular pick? A lot of hype around Byron Buxton, who is now with the Twins. But the Astros management made a very good choice in Carlos Correa, both as an athlete and a good dude.
5 years ago today. Now it's 3-0. We saw Altuve ground out to start this inning. If Altuve does not get another at bat, his 7-game hitting streak will be over. Carlos has a 10-game hitting streak with that home run his second time up. Three and 1 the count. Nick Martinez has done a nice job for the Rangers coming out of the bullpen. In a 7-2 game, he's retired all 8 he has faced. And another strike. Carlos ready to take that shin guard off. It's 3-2.
Better get back in the box. Seen some good sinkers from Nick Martinez. That was a good pitch.
Carlos towards right field. Chu towards the corner, and this ball is foul. Martinez, we mentioned, was a candidate to pitch Tuesday in that series opener against the Mets. Today we'll take him out of that equation. Had Austin Bibbins-Dirks start a game against the Tampa Bay Rays. That was his first start, so he'll possibly get another opportunity. There's a line drive, and that's slicing foul into that same right field corner. Of Correa's 11 home runs, hitting his 11th in the 3rd inning, 4 of them have been to right field this year. Foul at the plate. Trino's unable to hold on to it. It stays 3-2 on Correa. Carlos with a 12 RBI road trip so far. We're playing in game number 6 of 10 on this road trip. Stays at that pace, he'll come home with 20 more ribbies than he left with.
Pretty good battle going on. Seen a couple of tweets from people who have said that they have seen Cesar Cedeno play. They said he was a pretty special player going out there. Speed, power, range in the outfield.
Yeah, he had it all.
Gosh. Yeah, those numbers backed it up. It was pretty amazing.
There's a bullet to center field. That's a base hit. Carlos Correa on for the 4th consecutive time. Only time he was retired was on a line drive out to center field his first time up.
There you go. Kathy was one of them.
We always have that qualifier whenever we talk about guys from that era or prior to the opening of Minute Maid Park, is that a lot of those numbers were done playing half your home games at the Astrodome.
It's a really good point. Big ballpark, yet they were still able to drive it out of there.
One on, one out. Here's Evan Gattis.
How about having to patrol that outfield? My goodness.
Gattis looking for his first hit today. 1-1 the count. Astros and Rangers will see each other again. And the Astros are back in town. 4 games in Kansas City, and then the homestand starts against the Angels next weekend at Minute Maid Park. The Rangers are in town a week from tomorrow, the 12th through the 14th. Houston looking to improve to 6-1 on the year against the Texas Rangers. In the dirt, blocked by Chirinos. It's 2-2. A chant of "Let's go Astros" at Globe Life Park. You don't hear that often.
Tell you what, they've earned the right to go out there and do that. It's been rough go here in Arlington the last couple of years, so enjoy.
A lot of Houston Astros fans have taken their share over the years here.
H-Town Wiggy. You know, it's a big series if he's showing up.
And a lot of Rangers fans have left this game, while Astros fans are reveling in the possibility of a sweep. 3-2 the count on Gattis. Into center field. Shallow, long run to Shields. He'll get there. 2 outs. That'll bring up Carlos Beltran. Beltran doubled home a run in the first inning. Astros scored an unearned run in that inning as Evan Gattis reached base on an error and scored on the double by Beltran. Carlos has also walked. He's 1 for 3. Called strike. Coming into today, the Astros through 56 games had not only the best record in franchise history through 56 games, they were a full 6 games better than their previous record. Beltran goes down. So Martinez ends up allowing just the 1 hit in 3 1/3 innings of work. We head to the bottom of the 9th. It's 7-2. Baseball on Root Sports is presented by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Astros lead the Rangers 7-2 heading to the bottom half of the 9th inning. Houston looking to complete a 3-game series sweep and win their 10th in a row. And on to pitch the bottom half of the 9th inning for Houston is Luke Gregerson.
Pitched last night, came out a little bit early, but trying to get back in form. Talking to some inside that Astros clubhouse. Luke is just feeling for it right now instead of going out there and throwing it like we've seen him do so well in the past in that Astros uniform. Trying to regain that form that showed a good sinker and that slider off the table that you could pretty much telegraph was coming and get good break out of it. But just a veteran trying to work through some issues that he's having.
They'll face Rougned Odor, Jared Hoying, and Pete Kozma, 7, 8, 9 in the Rangers lineup. First time Odor's been below 5 in the Texas lineup this year. He hit a home run for the Rangers' first run, a solo shot in the 5th. Astros trying to get through this bottom half of the 9th inning and extend their winning streak. Texas earlier in the year had a 10-game winning streak. And at one point, the Rangers won 12 out of 13 games. Took that 11 out of 12 games, but their 10-game winning streak came against the Padres, the A's, and the Phillies. If the Astros win their 10th in a row, they will have come against the final game against the Detroit Tigers and the Baltimore Orioles, who are as good as anybody for the month of April. The Central Division leading Minnesota Twins, and probably the team that most people felt was going to be their competition, their biggest rival this year, and defending American League West champions back-to-back years, the Texas Rangers. Now it's 3-1. Gregerson behind in the count to Odor. This system that we've been warning you about, we're on the front edge of it right now, so time is an issue here in this bottom of the 9th inning. 3-2 the count. Fans are starting to scurry from their seats.
Just be here under the desk until this thing passes, okay?
I mean, there's no sense of urgency right now. Luke's kind of rubbing up the baseball. And
I don't know, that tweet that the Arlington PD sent out has me a little concerned. I recall a time in Chicago when we had some pretty intense Midwest weather out there. And lightning hit Lance Berkman, I think, basically ran off the field because it was immediate with the lightning and thunder, and Lance just bolting into the dugout in complete fear. But I think we actually finished off an inning with the tornado siren going, which is always smart to do.
It's pleasant. Luke with another 3-2 pitch to Odor, and he tried to hold up, but he went around. Tagged out by Evan Gattis. That is out number 1 in the bottom half of the 9th. I'll bring up Delino DeShields. DeShields doubled in a pinch hit appearance against Tony Sipp in the 7th inning. Stayed in the game. Astros have had a 10-minute rain delay on this trip in Minnesota. That's right, 10 minutes.
that was a mistake.
And then a 2-hour, 6-minute rain delay at the start of this series. They are hoping to avoid any further delays today with 1 out in the bottom half of the 9th.
That 10-minute rain delay in Minnesota might have been the umpires contemplating the mercy rule. That was a rough day for the Minnesota Twins.
At the time, George Springer was very frustrated with the tarp being put on. The Astros picked up right where they left off after that short delay. This weather is not going to stop Astros fans from cheering on their team from right behind the Houston dugout. 2-1 the count.
It's got to be tough for Luke Gregerson trying to regain that form that he's had, but on a wet afternoon like this, trying to grip that baseball's got to make it interesting.
But definitely not ideal conditions right now.
How about the Astro fans enjoying every minute of this?
Up and in. Speaking of the grip, Luke was down 3-1 in the count to Odor. Now he's 3-1 on the Shields. Into that rosin bag. Strike 3-2.
I like to call that the thunderstorm strike zone. See what it looks like on our MD Anderson strike zone. Come back a little bit, cut a piece, nice.
It's officially nasty out there.
Yeah, it does not look good. It's only going to get worse too.
Right field, Springer looking through the raindrops, puts it away for out number 2. Don't forget, coming up after the game, Kevin Eschenfelder, Mike Stanton with your Astros postgame show. They will talk about how George Springer and Brad Peacock were 2 of the stars today for your Houston Astros. We'll preview the Kansas City Royals, who are currently playing the Indians. And we'll hear from A.J. Hinch and other players as Julia Morales gathers interviews in the Astros clubhouse. 1 out away from a series sweep. The rain is coming down as hard now as it has all day long. Pete Cosman, the batter. Up and in. Gregerson just trying to figure out a way to throw strikes and keep that pitching hand dry. Nobody wants to see the tarp on here. And down to the final out of the 9th in a 5-run game.
Yeah, that's the intent right now, is just to get this last out of the way. I know Pete Cosma is going to have himself a professional AB. That's probably the hardest thing about it, but the last thing you want to do with 1 out to go in the ball game is to sit back and wait for a rainstorm to pass by.
Astros 1 out away from a 10-game winning streak in a series sweep. Grounded foul.
It's kind of interesting to actually see both dugouts. They've still got plenty of guys on the top rail, grinding it out with the guys that are on there out in the middle of the field. There you go. These guys toughing it out. Some solidarity. Meanwhile, the bullpen is evacuated for the Houston Astros.
3-1.
That was within the thunderstorm strike zone for me. Let's see if it did qualify. Absolutely.
I mean, it is really coming down right now. 3-1 the count. 2 outs, nobody on. And ball 4. Shin-Soo Choo, the batter. 0 for 3, hit by a breaking ball. Hit by pitch his last time up. Cosmo on the move, swing and a miss by Chu. Cosmo takes second on fielder's indifference. And now Evan Gattis will talk to Luke Gregerson.
First sign after 2. That's all that conversation was. Runner on second base, you got to go to multiple signs. Or he might have just said first sign. Don't try and get too complicated in these games right now. A little bit tighter ball game, then yeah, you mix it up. But right now, just keep it simple.
Strike 2, Astros 1 strike away. Trying to match their franchise record for the most consecutive wins on the road at 10. Overall, trying to win their 10th straight game. Gregerson against Chu. Trying to find a dry baseball out there. That's the issue, too. We're starting to get some puddling in the infield. This is not pretty right now. This game was in the 6th or 7th inning. It would definitely be called. But they're 1 pitch away from wrapping things up. Little tapper, Gregerson, Fields, underhand toss, Astros win. Astros sweep the Texas Rangers and extend their winning streak to 10 games. 77-2 the final score, 25 games, over 500. And the outfielders are racing in as the weather continues to come down here in Texas.
The Astros have rained on the Texas Rangers parade here in Arlington, and we've got a player of the game. It's brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. George Springer, second multi-home run game of this road